Live from Maverik Center in the West Valley City, it's Utah Grizzlies hockey. As tonight's the opener of a three-game series as the Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. It's been 34 days since the Grizzlies have had a home game, so if it feels like it's been a long time, it certainly has been, as the Grizzlies played 9 straight road games. They opened up the road trip on a winning note on December 19th against Kansas City. Oddly enough, that was the last time Kansas City has lost a game. As the Mavericks come in with a 9-game winning streak, the Grizzlies scored 9 goals in that 2-game series against Kansas City, winning 7-4 on December 19th and then losing 3-2. But the Grizzlies scored 2 goals in 29 seconds. Late in regulation in that December 20th game, Kansas City scored the first 3 goals. And not only did the Grizzlies score 2 goals in 29 seconds, but they also had a couple good looks in the final minute to try to tie it up. Robbie Stucker was outstanding in that 2-game series over at Cable Dama Arena as he had 1 goal and 4 assists. We had 5 points in 2 games, and Stucker's been an outstanding presence to the Grizzlies over the last month. For the Grizzlies, they ended the road trip with a record of 3-5-1 as they have lost 5 in a row. Utah does have quite a few positives in terms of goal scorers and players who have performed well offensively during the last 9 games. As Reed Webster led Utah with 10 points in the 9-game road trip as he had 6 goals and 4 assists. Danny Genev, the Grizzlies all-star representative, had 7 goals and 1 assist for the Grizzlies in the road trip. And how about this? He had 55 shots on goal during the 9-game road trip. Stepan Timofeyev led Utah with 6 assists on the road trip. He missed the last 2 games of the trip, and unfortunately, Timofeyev is out with an injury tonight. Nevin Friesen was a standout. He had 4 goals and 3 assists. Maxim Barbashev was outstanding. He had 3 goals and 4 assists in the 9-game road trip. There's a few changes to the Grizzlies roster as there's 3 different players making their Grizzlies debut tonight. We'll talk about them. Sean Kennedy is making his home debut as he was acquired from the SBHL just a couple weeks ago. Looks like a good crowd is filing in here on a Friday night. It's the opener of a 3-game series. If you're in the West Valley area, come on out and join us. Grizzlies are rolling with 11 forwards and 6 defensemen tonight as Fox Night at the rink. As Fox is the presenting sponsor, I know there was a little bit of confusion. Unfortunately, Fox isn't televising the game, but nevertheless, we're going to have some fun here this evening as we're going to watch some good hockey as John Mechanic's crew will be in action here tonight as they take on the Kansas City Mavericks in the opener of a 3-game series. And Utah's looking to end Kansas City's 9-game winning streak, as the last loss for Kansas City was, as we mentioned before, December 19th when the Grizzlies got a 7-4 victory. When we come back, we'll talk about the 3 newest Grizzlies, as well as Sean Kennedy, who's making his Maverik Center debut. Dylan Wells will get the start in net for the Grizzlies. He'll be going up against Logan Turnus, who's got a record of 5-1 in 6 appearances for Kansas City. Should be a ton of fun. Good crowds filing in here on a Friday night as it's the Grizzlies and the Kansas City Mavericks meeting for the 3rd time this season. We'll come back and introduce the newest Grizzlies to you. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverik Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. Faceoffs in about 15 minutes from now as the Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks in the opener of a 3-game series. Utah's been a high shot volume club as of late as they're averaging 41.28 shots per game over the last 7 contests. Utah's taken 289 shots over their last 7 games. Utah is 3rd in shots per game at 33.6 on the year. Kansas City, on the other side, likes to control the shot count as they are out shooting opponents by an average of 8.2 per game so far this season. It's game 34 of the regular season for both the Grizzlies and the Kansas City Mavericks. Interestingly enough, it's just the 12th home game for the Grizzlies this season. That is the fewest amount of home games so far in the league. So Utah has obviously been on the road for quite some time. And Utah is 10-10-2 on the road. They are 3-7-1 here at the friendly confines of Maverik Center. Well, earlier this week, the Grizzlies picked up 3 different players. We mentioned a little bit on Sunday, and the Grizzlies 3-2 loss to Tahoe. The Grizzlies picked up Matu Boyard. He came over from the Adirondack Thunder. He was claimed off waivers. Boyard is a pretty strong guy. He is 6'2" and 225 pounds. It's his 3rd year in the league. Last year, he spent some time with the Trois-Rivières Thunder, the team that won the Kelly Cup, and he played in 27 games and had 1 assist and a +1 rating. It's actually his 2nd year as a pro. In 15 games at Adirondack, he had 39 penalty minutes, and he's a very physical player. He might be the strongest player on the Grizzlies' current roster. Matu Boyard, Boyslard, his last name. He will wear number 27, and he's going to be paired up with Noah Gansky tonight. Yesterday, the Grizzlies picked up 2 players from the SBHL, one of them with the Peoria Rivermen named Mike Gillette. He is the older brother of John Gillette, as Mike Gillette appeared in 84 games of the SBHL's Peoria Rivermen from 2022 through 2026. Scoring 28 goals and 42 assists. Gillette's also been a clutch performer for Peoria, as he has 9 points, 3 goals and 6 assists in 16 playoff games. He played in 7 postseason games with Peoria during their 2024 championship club. Gillette played at Skidmore College from 2018 through 2022 and at the University of Wisconsin River Falls during the 2022-23 season. The Gillette brothers are just the 2nd brothers to play for the Grizzlies as teammates. We'll give you a little bit of the trivia question during the first period as to who's the other set of brothers in Grizzlies history. So it's certainly fun to see. Mike Gillette will be wearing number 91. He's a little bit bigger than John Gillette, as Mike is listed at 6'2" and 209 pounds. Earlier this season in the SBHL, Mike Gillette in 15 games has 5 goals and 9 assists. He's averaging close to a point per game for Peoria. Last year in 29 games, he had 10 goals and 14 assists. He was a +16 last year for Peoria, and he's a +2 this year. Mike and John Gillette are from Middletown, New Jersey. Mike is 28 years old, and his younger brother, John, is 24. Grizzlies also picked up Michael Coella, who's going to be wearing number 96. Coella appeared in 1 game with the SBHL's Peoria Rivermen, where he was a teammate of Mike Gillette earlier this season. That was on October 18th. Michael Coella, a couple of his hockey teams have referenced him as Mikey Coella. He had a pretty distinguished college career, did Mikey Coella, who played at Northern Michigan University for 4 years, where he was a teammate with current Grizzly defenseman Colby Enns. Last year, he transferred to Canisius College and in 36 games had 4 goals and 8 assists. He was one of 5 players to appear in every game last season for Canisius. Coella isn't very big. He's listed at 5'7" and 150 pounds, but he's got a ton of speed, and he's going to bring some playmaking to the Grizzlies' attack. Utah they're a little bit limited due to injuries. Grizzlies are rolling with 17 skaters, and out of the lineup tonight, Avery Winslow, Riley Kovacevic, Stepan Timofeyev's unable to go. Luke Manning's missed the last handful of games. Nil Shea's battling a lower body injury. And the Grizzlies are also without Christoph Filion and Christian Felton. And for Felton, he's missing his 4th straight game. So Utah has been battling the injury bug a little bit as of late. When we come back in 1 minute, we'll go over the lineups for both teams. It's Grizzlies and Mavericks. We're in business on a Friday night, and you're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverik Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
Since Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to americafirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Welcome back to the Grizzlies Hockey Network. I'm Tyson Whiting. Face-offs in about 10 minutes from now. It's been 34 days since the Grizzlies have had a home game, and it certainly feels like it. Looks like a good Friday night crowd's filing in here. It's Fox Night at the Rink, as they're the presenting sponsor of tonight's game. Let's go over the lineups for both teams. First for the visiting Kansas City Mavericks, who are led by six-year head coach Tad O'Had. The assistant coach is Brett Ferguson, who was the interim head coach for the Allen Americans last season. Kansas City certainly been rolling as of late, as the Mavericks really dominated action over the last 3 years. In fact, Kansas City, since the start of the 2023-24 season, has a record of 127, 60, 9-4. So they have been a perennial winner with Tad O'Had over the last 2.5 seasons. Getting the start in net is Logan Turnus. He got the victory against Utah on December 20th. Turnus in 6 games has a record of 5-1. The 2.30 goals against average and 903 save percentage. Turnus is 6'1" and 174 pounds. He is from Burnaby, British Columbia, and he played his college hockey at The Ohio State University. Luke Pavicic, who just recently signed by the Mavericks, will be the backup. The starting defensive pairing for Tad O'Had's crew will include Charlie Wright, scoreless in 6 games with Kansas City. He spent most of this season in the AHL with the Coachella Valley Firebirds, as the Mavericks are affiliated with Coachella Valley, and their NHL affiliate is the Seattle Kraken, who will incidentally enough be in the Salt Lake Valley tomorrow to take on the Utah Mammoth. So Charlie Wright is one starting defenseman, 6'1", 185 pounds, and he's paired up with Hudson Wilson, who's playing in his 100th pro game. Wilson in 31 games this year has 2 goals and 1 assist and a +7 rating. Wilson has good size at 6'3" and 200 pounds. So he's starting defensive pairing is Charlie Wright and Hudson Wilson. But you got to spotlight Marcus Crawford, who's having an MVP type of campaign for Kansas City. Crawford in 33 games has 7 goals and 31 assists. He leads the league with a +34 rating, leads the league in assists with 31, and is second in the league with 38 points. Crawford's been outstanding for Kansas City. Unfortunately, Kansas City didn't have the decency to send me with their lines, but we do know that Crawford's going to be one of 6 defensemen for Tad O'Had's crew, so you've got to watch out for him. And you also got to watch out for Zach Ewens, who is at +20 this season and has 3 goals and 8 assists in 22 games. So he's starting defensive pairing once again is Hudson Wilson and Charlie Wright. The starting forwards include David Cotton, who in 31 games this year has 10 goals and 7 assists. He's got a +7 rating. Cotton's going to be wearing number 13. Casey Crew, who's been a Grizzlies killer over the years, he's got 11 goals and 10 assists in 33 games. Crew is 5'9" and 186 pounds. And Jackson Berezowski was just recently sent to the Mavericks from Coachella Valley. In 28 games, he has 3 goals and 5 assists and a +3 rating. So your starting forwards again are Cotton, along with Carew and Jackson Berezowski. One former Grizzly on the Kansas City roster, and that's Luke LeMaster, who was with the Grizzlies in 16 games at the end of last season, scoring 1 goal and 2 assists. LeMaster was in training camp with the Grizzlies, and he was with Utah through the first week of the regular season. And in 1 game, he had 1 assist with Utah before getting traded to Kansas City in what turned out to be a 3-team deal. So Luke LeMaster, who scored the game winner against Utah on December 20th in a game Kansas City won 3-2 to start their 9-game winning streak. LeMaster in 17 games has 3 goals and 4 assists. So that's the lineup for the Kansas City Mavericks. And now for the Utah Grizzlies, who come in with a record of 13, 17, and 3. They're looking to end a 5-game losing skid. They're led by first-year head coach John Buchanan. Assistant coaches are Ryan Anderson and Jack Skilley. Getting the start in net is Dylan Wells, who is 6'2" and 190 pounds. Wells has a record of 7, 10, and 2. With 1 shutout, he has a 4.10 goals against average and 875 save percentage. Dominic Bassey is the backup. Wells will get the start for Utah. He appeared in 2 of the 3 games last week against the Tahoe Night Monsters. The starting defensive pairing for the Grizzlies includes Colby Enns, who played at Northern Michigan University for 4 years, and he was a teammate with Mikey Coella, the newest Grizzly forward. Enns leads the Grizzlies with a +3 rating, and he has 4 goals and 4 assists in 29 games. And he'll be paired up with Aiden Hansen-Bukata, AHB, in 29 games this year, has 1 goal and 17 assists. The 17 helpers lead the Grizzlies, and that is ranked tied for 4th among league rookies. So Colby Enns and Aiden Hansen-Bukata are the starting defensive pairing. You also see Mathieu Boilard paired up with Noah Gansky. Boilard comes over from the Adirondack Thunder. He was claimed off waivers earlier this week. Noah Gansky was outstanding in the last 2 games of the Tahoe series. He had 2 assists in Sunday night's game. Actually, he got 1 goal and 1 assist last Sunday against Tahoe, a game Utah lost 3-2. Gansky has 2 goals and 7 assists in 24 games. Luke Salem's going to be paired up with Robbie Stucker. That's the 6th defenseman for the Grizzlies tonight, with Hansen-Bukata and Enns getting the start. The starting forwards for the Grizzlies include Evan Friesen, who in 33 games has 8 goals and 7 assists. Reed Lepster leads Utah with 17 goals this year. As the Grizzlies come out of the tunnel in their professional green alternate jerseys, white numbers and black trim. As it should be an interesting one tonight as the Flames come flying in the air. Dylan Wells leads the Grizzlies out. Mathieu Boilard, he's sporting a beard, and he's 6'2" and 225 pounds to be one of 6 defensemen tonight. We had mentioned Evan Friesen's going to get a start for Utah wearing number 11. Reed Lepster will also be in the starting lineup. He is tied for 4th in the league with 17 goals. And Tyler Gratton, the Grizzlies captain, is also going to be in the starting lineup. He has 6 goals and 10 assists in 27 games. That's the top forward line on John Mechanic's lineup card. Second forward line from left to right includes Sean Kennedy, who's making his Maverik Center debut. He's out there with Riley Connors and Maxime Barbashev. Third forward line includes the all-star Danny Genev, who leads the league with 135 shots on goal. Jack Ricketts, the first-year pro, has 8 goals and 9 assists in 27 games. And John Gillette wearing number 24. Gillette has 6 goals and 5 assists in 33 games. Fourth forward line includes Mike Gillette, the older brother of John, and Michael Coella, who's wearing number 96. He's making his Grizzlies and league debut. He played 1 SPHL game earlier this season. Let's get the starting lineup for the Grizzlies. Colby Enns being introduced. Let's get the rest of the lineup from Mark Larson, the PA announcer.
Aiden Hansen-Bukata. At forward wearing number 11, Evan Friesen. At forward wearing number 23, Reed Lepster. At forward wearing number 59, Tyler Gratton. And protecting our goal tonight, wearing number 32, Dylan Wells.
That's the starting lineup for the Grizzlies, who are coming out in their green alternate jerseys. First home game in 34 days. And for the Grizzlies and their fans are certainly thrilled to see some live hockey here on the Maverik Center ice. Remember, it's just the opener of a 3-game series. These teams will meet on Saturday night at 7:10 and Sunday afternoon at 3:10. And that will honor Bob Zito, longtime hockey legend, and Ice officially passed away over the last few weeks.
At the 2002 Winter Olympics, his love for hockey began when his son started playing at age 5, and his legacy lives on through his son Robert and grandson Stanford. Known for his kindness and warm smile, Bob will be sorely missed. We love you, Bob.
Bob Zito was certainly a big part of the Grizzlies organization. And he will definitely be missed. Grizzlies and the Mavericks meeting for the 3rd time this season. Utah split a 2-game series against Kansas City, winning 7-4 on December 19th. And in that game, Reed Lepster had 2 goals and 1 assist. Robbie Stucker had 1 goal and 2 assists. And then December 20th, the Grizzlies got goals from Tyler Gratton and Evan Friesen 26 seconds apart late in the second period. But Kansas City held on for a 3-2 victory. Now let's pause for our national anthem.
Now, please rise and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem performed tonight by Union Middle School.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
It's a great night for hockey as two big standings points are on the line as the Utah Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks in the opener of a 3-game series. Watch out for Reed Lepster. He's got 7 goals in his last 10 games. He is tied for third in the league with 17 goals on the year. Danny Genev leads the league with 135 shots. He's been outstanding for the Grizzlies all year long. We got to battle two of the best rookies in the league. It's Danny Genev and Kansas City's Jackson Judding are each tied for the league lead with 28 points this season. That's the league lead among rookies. Watch out for Jackson Judding. He's got 14 goals and 14 assists. He's a +5 for Kansas City this year. Goaltending matchup as Dylan Wells getting the start for the Grizzlies. This will be his 20th appearance. He's got a record of 7-10-2 with an .875 save percentage. And Kansas City is going with Logan Turnus in net. Turnus in 6 games has a record of 5-1 with a 2.30 goals against average and .903 save percentage. Grizzlies will start out with a defensive pairing of Colby Enns and Aiden Hanson-Mukada and a forward line of Evan Friesen with Reed Lepster and Tyler Gratton. Kansas City is going to go with Turnus in net and a starting forward line of David Cotton with Casey Crew and Jackson Berezowski in a starting defensive pairing of Hudson Wilson and Charlie Wright. Fox 13, Spencer Joseph and Andrew Urban are here, dropping the ceremonial puck as it's Fox night at the rink here at Maverik Center. It's pretty much a league-wide thing. I saw that Fort Wayne, Orlando, some of the other teams in the league going with Fox night at the rink. And there's Andrew Urch, who incidentally enough is part of the ice crew of the Utah Mammoth. As those three take a picture at center ice, Grisby waves his arms in the air. He's got a white jersey, does Grisby, and the Grizzlies are going with the green alternates, the professional green alternates with white numbers, white lettering in the back, and a little bit of black mixed in. Grizzlies could certainly use the victory as they've lost 5 in a row. They went 3-5-1 over the 9-game road trip. Grizzlies did perform well on the offensive side of things. Utah has been a very aggressive team this season, as the Grizzlies over the last 18 games are averaging 36.61 shots per game. Utah was in the middle of the pack in shots per game this year, and now the Grizzlies, with their surge over the last handful of games, are now third in the league, averaging 33.61 shots per game. Referee tonight is Harrison O'Prey. The linesmen are Tyler Keston and Andrew Collins. Grizzlies will be skating from right to left as we see it from high top section 114. In your mind's eye, see it on YouTube. As Evan Friesen will take the draw against Kansas City's Jackson Berezowski, who was just reassigned to Kansas City from the AHL's Coachella Valley Firebirds. Off the draw, Charlie Wright gets it in deep as the Mavericks win the opening draw. As Dylan Wells will spin it along the near wing boards, Evan Friesen gets the puck and move it to his right for Reed Lepster. Lepster right point, shot kick saved by Turnus. The Grizzlies get their first shot 17 seconds in. Lepster on the right wing gets up top towards Colby Enns. He fires towards the net, and it's sticked away by Kansas City as the puck slides towards the left corner, which is the near side. Casey Crew, sporting a beard, will bounce it towards Charlie Wright. Ryan has spent more times with Coachella Valley than Kansas City over the last couple years. Berezowski gets back checked, crosses center ice, gets surrounded by 5 Grizzlies, and he'll bounce one towards Wells as he comes off the ice after his first shift of the game. Hanson Bukanda overlet it for Gratton at neutral ice. Kansas City skates in. Landon McCallum will drop it towards the right side. Lefty shot blocker save by Wells. It actually bounced off his left shoulder. That shot was taken by Jackson Judding. Now up top, Marcus Crawford, the MVP candidate, fires towards the net. Blocker save by Wells. Left wing shot kick save by Wells off his left pad. Kansas City dances around in the right corner as Casey Cruz engulfed by Luke Salem. Salem wearing number 6 in his first shift of the game. Up ahead towards Grant, the Grizzlies captain. As he'll skate out towards center ice. And he'll pitch it in as puck got some air under on a backhand feed. As John Gillette, his older brother Mike Gillette, just joined the Grizzlies earlier today. As Jack Ricketts gets it across towards Boislard. As Mathieu Boislard, wearing number 27, making his Grizzlies debut, sporting a beard. Kind of facially looks like Taylor Crunk, who played with the Grizzlies 4 years ago. Kansas City skies it at center ice. The puck up at the opposite of the Grizzlies zone. Boislard, his north-south pass is picked up. McCallum's got a breakaway. Centering pass shot. Saved by Wells. As Wells denies Kansas City. Taking that shot was number 26, Justin Janicki, who's a +9 this season. As Drake Bergeron, number 16, dumps it in. As Jack Ricketts behind Wells' net gets hit. As Gansky gets double-teamed. As he battles with Nolan Sullivan, number 19. Sullivan trying to get it towards Janicki. The puck kicks off the skate. Gansky and Boislard are surrounded by 2 Mavericks. Scrum over in the right corner. Puck goes up top. Bergeron, right wing. He'll take a righty shot that's blocked away before it got towards Wells. As Ricketts gives Kansas City a rough ride towards the corner. Reed leaps across the center ice, steps over the offense line, gets bounced by Bergeron. As Jake McLaughlin, number 27, gets it back towards Bergeron. McLaughlin, a longtime Kansas City defenseman. As Luke Lowhite skates down the middle of the ice, he'll move it towards his left. Skating in, Jimmy Glenn, righty shot, saved by Wells. As Kansas City's now outshot Utah 4-1. Grizzlies get it with Luke Salem. As he'll bouncing off the near wing boards towards Lebster, shovels it ahead. As chasing after it in his first shift as a Grizzly is Michael Coella. He is 5'7", 154 pounds. He had an impressive college career. Last year he was at Canisius. Before that, spent 4 years at Northern Michigan University, where he was a teammate with Colby Enns. Sean Kennedy in his Maverik Center debut gets the puck in deep. Kennedy, in his 4th game with the Grizzlies, he had a good college career, and he's a first-year pro. As Riley Connors tried to backhand it ahead, and it bounced off of number 18, Hudson Wilson. As the Grizzlies skate behind Kansas City's net, Maxime Barbashev in his first shift of the game, he loses control of the puck in the far corner. Kansas City sauces across ice. Grizzlies have a tap off Hanson Bukanda's stick. As Kennedy gets it back towards Colby Enns, who's got a shield. His face got battered and bruised a little bit during the Tahoe series, and slides it across towards Hanson Bukanda. We played 3.5 minutes in, still no score. Kansas City's outshot Utah 5-1. Hanson Bukanda gets it deep into the Kansas City zone off a Gratton stick. As Berezowski slides one towards the Kansas City bench. Mavericks accepted at center ice. Rink wide feed off the boards. Berezowski fires towards the net and hits the side of the net. Might have gotten a piece of Wells' left arm. As the Grizzlies get it ahead towards center ice, Evan Friesen collects the puck, skates towards the left side. He gets walloped by Marcus Crawford. As Friesen gets thrown towards the boards. Crawford a +34 this season to lead the league. Marcus Crawford gets the puck. He'll sky it towards the far corner deep in the Grizzlies zone. Chasing after it's David Cotton. Gansky moves it ahead. Grizzlies cross center ice. Reed Lebster strides and swaggers across center ice before losing control of the puck. Is Kansas City with a rink-wide feed towards McCallum. He's in the near side. Now McCallum skates down center ice. Now push it towards the middle of the ice. Puck goes towards Carew over to Judding. They'll move it towards the right side. McCallum tried to sweep one out in front, and it ricochets off of Stucker. Robbie Stucker had 5 points in 2 games against Kansas City in December. Genev gets bounced to the boards by Bergeron. Ricketts moves it towards right side. Stucker will take a righty shot. A blocker saved by Turnus. Rebound goes towards the left wing. Salem lefty shot. Glove saved by Turnus. And he holds on. 15-16 is the time remaining in the first period. As Kansas City's outshot Utah 5-3. And the Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw. Well, I've seen both the Gillette brothers out on the ice. John Gillette and his brother Mike. Interestingly enough, it's the second time that the Grizzlies have had a pair of brothers on the team at the same time. A little bit of a trivia question. We'll tell you who the other pair of brothers are in a few minutes. We'll give you some time to think about it. 15-16 left in the first. Still no score. Both teams have had some good chances early on. As Ricketts will take the face off, he's out there with John Gillette and Danny Genev. John Gillette had to make a modification to the back of his jersey. It now says J. Gillette. As off the draw, Genev left wing shot saved by Turnus. Genev leads the league in shots on goal with 135. He had 11 shots against Tahoe last Saturday on January 10th. Towards left corner, Ricketts knocks down a Maverik. Now Genev gets the puck. He skates around Kansas City's net before he gets the puck taken away from him by Jake McLaughlin. Now McLaughlin gets the puck. He skates down the middle of the ice. Grizzlies fit in a line change as they switch up forwards. As McLaughlin will bounce it into the right corner deep in the Grizzlies zone. McLaughlin, he gets walled by Luke Salem. Kansas City looking for a centering pass. It's picked off by Koala. Mikey Koala, number 96, skates towards the Kansas City bench, and he backhands it in deep. Friesen gets it off the wall. He's in the right corner. As Friesen dancing around, skates towards the point, gets up top to ends. Righty shot, and that kicks off the skate of Charlie Wright. Kansas City gets the rebound. And the whistle blows as Sullivan was skating towards New Trice in the right wing. Dylan Wells' net is dislodged, and so they'll put the net back in place. Draw's going to be at New Trice with 14:24. That's the time remaining in this first period. There's a lot of sports and entertainment options out there. Thanks for choosing the Grizzlies tonight in their battle against Kansas City. Just the start of things, so grab some chips and dip and a beverage of your choice and enjoy part of Friday with us. Don't forget it's a baseball-style 3-game weekend series. Grizzlies will take on Kansas City tomorrow night at 7 o'clock and Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Kansas City wins the draw, and Low Height skies it in. Now the puck goes back towards the far point. As it's knifed away, Hudson Wilson tried to move it ahead. It's Wilson's 100th pro game. Kansas City banks the puck off the near wing boards. Hanson Buchanan moves ahead towards Connors. He'll slide it to center ice. Taking it the center ice low goes Wilson, and he'll drive the puck back in. As Colby Enns gets the puck, Enns dancing back and forth. He's had a strong rookie campaign ahead towards Riley Connors. Connors will chip it off the boards near side over to Barbashev. Out the center ice is taken away by Low Height. Now Kennedy gets it back and he fires towards the net, but it goes over Logan Turnus. As the puck's towards the right corner, deep in the Kansas City zone, 2-on-2 scrum. Connors gets the puck. He'll drop it behind him, but the only guy there was Justin Janicki. Problem, plays for Kansas City. Janicki gets towards center ice. He'll roll it in slowly as the Mavericks make a full line change, and the Grizzlies switch up forwards as well. Boislard back over in the near corner. He gets double-teamed. Now Gansky joins the play. Friesen takes the puck. He'll skate behind Wells' net. He'll chip it off a Kansas City stick. Kennedy rolls it back behind Utah's net. Gansky over to Boislard. Boislard ahead to center ice. Gratton gets the puck. Left wing. Gratton looking for a toe drag, but he loses control of the puck. He gets it back and feeds it towards the vacant left corner. Kansas City will sweep it ahead towards center ice. Jimmy Glenn gets cut off by Gratton. Puck goes back towards the Grizzlies zone as Robbie Stucker will slide it to the middle of the ice, accepted by Gratton. Gratton over the offense line. High slot. Lefty shot. Stick saved by Turnus. Might have gotten a piece of his right blocker and right pad. As it was a bit of a low liner. As Reed Lebster gets up top towards Salem. He's near the blue line. Across towards Stucker. Grizzlies hanging out in the offensive zone as Friesen gets a stick lifted by Jackson Berezowski. Some Mavericks come back up with it. They'll zip it out towards center ice for Luke Lemaster off his stick. Taking the puck back is Friesen. He fires towards net and gets hit by Will Gavin on the follow through. As we played 7.5 minutes in, Gavin slashes Friesen, no call. Referee Harrison O'Prey might let him play this weekend. O'Prey is the only referee, as Grizzlies have had quite a few games in a row where they've only had one referee. About half the games in the league have two. Kansas City out towards center ice off of Berezowski's stick. He's battling with Hanson Buchanan along the near wing boards. Carew gets taken away by Genev, who jumps around Crawford. Crawford drags down Genev, and we get our first penalty of the game. I think both guys are going to the box. No, Genev's going to go in as well. Crawford and Genev have some words. Genev can't believe it. Crawford dragged down Genev, but I think referee Harrison O'Prey believed that Genev acted it out a little bit too much. Harrison O'Prey hearing it from Jack Ricketts as timeout on the ice. Crawford gets 2 minutes for tripping, and Genev gets 2 minutes for diving and embellishment. We'll skate 4-on-4 on the other side. 12:05 is the time remaining in the first period, and there's still no score. Both teams have 5 shots. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverik Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? Ah, an idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
So Marcus Crawford and Danny Genev, both guys have been all-stars in this league. As Crawford gets 2 minutes for tripping and Genev gets 2 minutes for diving and embellishment. So we're skating 4-on-4 face-offs at center ice. Genev leads Utah with 8 multiple-point games on the season. Face-off won by Kansas City. Still no score. Both teams have had some good chances. Both have 5 shots. Kansas City back deep in their own zone as they'll chip it ahead towards Jack Randall, who's got 11 goals and 11 assists this season. Over to Bergeron at center ice. Bergeron gets cut off by Connors. Nens accepts the puck. He'll get it across towards Hanson Bukata. AHB will drop it back as Grizzlies get to Connors, who crosses center ice. He tries to get his way around Randall. Randall takes it away. Puck towards the Grizzlies bench. Hanson Bukata slides back to the Utah line for Connors. Now Colby Enns throws it behind his back to Connors, who will skate behind Wells' net. Grizzlies set up shop as Enns ahead towards Hanson Bukata. Bukata gets belted by Jake McLaughlin. Kansas City out towards the right wing. It was overled by Randall as the puck goes off the boards. Ends around Utah's net as he stops over in the far corner. He'll get it towards Connors as Kansas City makes a change. 1:10 left in the 4-on-4. Connors takes it towards Boislard. Now Connors over the offensive line, right wing. He fires a righty shot, saved by Turnus as he just kind of snatched it around his blocker and held it towards his jersey. As he makes a stop with 11:05 left in the first. Exactly 1 minute is left in the 4-on-4. And the Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw. Connors comes off the ice so far this season. 12 games, has 4 goals and 2 assists. Connors has 5 points, 3 goals and 2 assists, and 25 shots on goal over his last 7 games. Friesen will take the draw for Utah. He's got a point in 8 of his last 12 games. He scored a third-period goal for Utah in Sunday against Tahoe, a game Utah lost 3-2. His third-period goal tied it up at 2, and then Tahoe scored late in the third period to take a 3-2 lead, which they eventually held. Reed Lebster skates along the blue line, and so get towards Gansky, who tried to feed it back towards Lebster, but in front of Lebster was Zach Ewens, who's a +20 this season. Lebster gets it back. He'll drop it for Friesen. Friesen over to Boislard. Lefty shot goes wide as he missed the net stick side on Turnus. 2-on-2 battle behind Kansas City's net as the puck slides towards the left corner, which is the near side. Grizzlies skate from right to left in the period as Friesen pushes Ewens in the back. 2-on-2 scrum. 22 seconds left in the 4-on-4 and 10.5 minutes left in the first period. Lebster keeps control of the puck. Right now takes it away. Now David Cotton gets it. Cotton gets back checked by Friesen, crosses center ice. He taps it up with Boislard skate. Now Kansas City over the middle of the ice. Ewens with a shot, and that's blocked by the combination of Gansky and Ewens and Boislard. As Friesen will throw it towards the Kansas City line. As Gillette collides with Bergeron. Now we're back to skating 5-on-5 as Genev and Crawford are out of the box. McCallum over towards low height. Right side shot blocked by Luke Salem. Puck out to center ice. Kansas City will back it out into their own zone. Mavericks have won 9 in a row. They have outscored opponents 31-13 over the last 9 games. That's right. They've only allowed 13 goals in the last 9 games. Bergeron, rink-wide feed, angle left, is off of Janicki's skate. Now Kansas City will get to the center of the ice off a low-height skate. As Kansas City playing soccer here on the Maverik Center ice. Bergeron back deep in his own zone. He'll zip it out to center ice as low height will stop. I pushed it back towards Bergeron, and Bergeron with the right wing feed gets towards Janicki. Janicki will backhand it off the glove of Robbie Stucker as the puck's towards the right corner of the Grizzlies zone. Bergeron right side, his righty shot goes wide. Puck ricochets towards the left wing. Now behind the net, low height collides with Stucker. Stucker gives low height some lumber. As Salem holds up low height. Now the puck goes back up top. Kansas City gets over to Bergeron, right side. He fires towards net, and it's kicked away by the skate of a Maverick. Grizzlies cross center ice. Genev to the middle of the ice for Ricketts. Ricketts over the offensive line. Will lock one towards Genev. Centering feed to Hanson Bukata. AHB couldn't get a shot off as Janicki took his time and space away. Now towards the right wing. Righty shot by Colby Enns on a one-timer. Hits the outside of the cage after missing wide. Mike Gillette whips it around the boards. Mike Gillette is a little bit bigger than his brother John, as Mike goes 6'2" and 209 pounds. And John Gillette goes 5'11", 195. Kansas City still deep in their own zone. Outlet pass towards the right wing off of Lemaster's stick. Lemaster gets it back. He was with training camp for the Grizzlies this season and played in the first weekend of the year, had 1 assist in 1 game. Now Coelho, right side, is lefty shot. Is sticked away by Kansas City. As a puck out towards center ice and the hipping hops towards Boislard. He gets it across to Gansky, who's in the Grizzlies zone. Gansky, rink wide feed angle left towards Barbashev. Barbashev will bounce it off of Crawford. Barbashev, second-year pro, over towards Gansky, who skates towards the right corner. Gansky around Kansas City's net towards the near side. He gets a rough ride from Zach Ewens. Mavericks come back up with the puck. Grizzlies back defensively. Kansas City crosses center ice, and they'll move one on towards Wells, and Wells covers up in the crease to stop play with 7:48 left in the first. So draws going to be in the Grizzlies zone. To answer that trivia question, we mentioned the Gillette brothers, Mike and John. They're the second pair of brothers to be teammates on the Grizzlies. Who's the other one? And it goes back to the 2010-2011 season. And the correct answer to the trivia question is Paul and Tim Crowder. They were each teammates on the Grizzlies during the 2010-2011 season. Grizzlies win the draw. They'll sky it out towards center ice, and the puck will hippity hop into the Kansas City bench. 7:42 is left in the first. Draw's going to come back towards Grizzlies ice. Paul and Tim Crowder were actually pretty good players. Both guys were AHL-level talents. And they were teammates on the Grizzlies during the 2010-2011 season. I would have thought that there would have been like 6 or 7 brother combinations that were teammates on the Grizzlies, but John and Mike Gillette are just the second. Sounds like the Gillette family is going to make a trip out to the Salt Lake Valley for tomorrow night's game, and they're certainly thrilled to have John and Mike on the same team. And they really haven't been on the same team going back many years. As obviously, Mike is about 4 years older than John. Draws over in the far circle in the Grizzly zone as Barbashev will take the draw. It's won by Berezowski in Kansas City. It's knifed by Kennedy out to neutral ice as Ewens will fire it back in. Wells plays behind his net as he cuts off the puck, and he'll zip it off the glass. Carew lets it go towards Crawford. Right point, his shot's blocked. Kennedy out towards center ice for Barbashev. Barbashev will dump it in and chase after it. Kennedy and Barbashev go after the puck. They get there about the same time as the puck lifts in the air and hippity hops towards the right circle. Connors gets it taken away. It goes to center ice. Luke Salem crosses center, and he'll sky it in. Hits the top of the glass and stays in play as Grizzlies make a full line change. Still no score. Both teams have taken 6 shots. There's about 7 minutes left in the first period. As Friesen towards the left side, he swings and misses as he gets double-teamed. Arm is raised by the referee. It's going to be a Kansas City penalty. Hanson Buchanan over towards Lebster as Lebster bouncing off of Berezowski's stick, but not enough to get the whistle. Grizzlies back in their own zone. Hanson Buchanan will feed it towards Lebster on the near side. Now Lebster and Hanson Buchanan switch places. Lebster with the left wing feed out to Hanson Buchanan. Hanson Buchanan over towards Lebster. He has a tap off his skate, and McCallum hit Lebster up high. I'm not sure if there's going to be 2 penalties. Slashing is going to be one of the calls. Not sure if McCallum gets one for hitting Lebster up high near the whistle. As Friesen got tripped up as he was skating towards the left corner. And the penalty is going to be on Casey Carew. So Carew's in the box. He's serving penalty minutes, number 11 and 12 on the season. Grizzlies get their first power play of the night. Utah is 19.2% on the power play this year. Kansas City's penalty kills, one of the best in the league at 88%. 2 minutes for Slashing as Casey Carew's in the box, 13:20 K-Fan into the first period. Actually, it's 13:21 into the first. As Ricketts will take the drives out there with Genev, Gratton, Lebster, and Hanson Buchanan. That's the party of 5 for Utah. Watch out for Hanson Buchanan. He's got 8 power play assists on the season. As Ricketts kicked out of the face-off circle, and Tyler Gratton will take the draw. Gratton has 3 goals and 5 assists on the power play this season. Danny Genev has 1 goal and 7 assists on the power play this year. Puck is dropped by the linesman as it goes towards the left corner. Kansas City shovels it up and out as it goes past Hanson Buchanan to center ice. AHB will skate back into the Grizzlies zone as he'll skate towards Wells. Now he stops behind Wells' neck. Grizzlies skate from right to left during the period. As Lebster gets the puck, he'll race along the left wing. Lebster crosses center ice, now dangles down the middle of the ice. Bounces one towards Gratton. Gratton feeds up top, nobody home as it goes back into the Grizzlies zone. Hanson Buchanan will hustle after the puck as Kansas City makes a line change, and they get 4 fresh tires on their penalty kill. Fans serenade. Casey Carew in the penalty box. Hanson Buchanan crosses center ice, and he'll drop it back for Lebster. Reed Lebster, 17 goals this season over to Ricketts over the offense line. Shoulder fakes And they'll drop it for Genev. Danny Genev fakes it to Hanson Buchanan. Now he gets it back to AHB after skating towards a corner. Hanson Buchanan, high slot. We'll get it to Genev, left side. Genev will bounce it off the Maverik. As Gratton whips it around the boards. Lebster cuts it up behind Kansas City's net. Lebster over to Gratton. Lefty one-timer. Saved by Turnus. Rebound to Grizzly. Gets dragged down trying to get the puck. Gratton gets it in the left wing. Feeds up top towards Genev. Now to the middle of the ice for Hanson Buchanan. He'll get it to Lebster. Back to Hanson Buchanan. Gratton tries to feed Ricketts out in front. And pass is thwarted. And Kansas City clears it out. So both teams will switch things up. 36 seconds and counting left in Utah's first power play of the game. As Robbie Stucker gets it across towards the right wing for Connors. Riley Connors whips it all along the roulette wheel. As Friesen gets the puck, skates towards the left corner with Barbashev setting a basketball-style screen on Ewens. Puck reverses back towards the right point for Connors. He feeds it to the right corner for Kennedy. Sean Kennedy wearing number 17. Played one game at Tulsa towards the end of the 2023-24 season. Kennedy dances around. He'll get it towards Friesen. Evan Friesen up top towards Connors in the right point. Connors dancing back and forth. 5 seconds left in the power play over to the right side. Shot saved by Turnus. And he holds on. As looked like Connors was hoping for a rebound with Kennedy out towards the right goal line. Turnus bobbled it for a second, but he was able to hold on. 4:41 left in the first period and 2 seconds left in the power play. Still no score. Grizzlies are up to 9 shots, and Kansas City has 6. The Gillette brothers are out there. John's taking the draw. He's got Mike to his left. And Mikey Coella over on the right side. Up top is Robbie Stucker and Luke Salem. 2 seconds left in the power play. And if Kansas City wins the draw, Salem's going to have to make sure that Carew doesn't get a breakaway. As Kansas City, if they win the draw, is probably going to loop one out towards Carew. As fans yell, drop the puck. As Jimmy Glenn's kicked out of the face-off circle. And now it's Justin Janicki taking the draw. Grizzlies win the faceoff. Salem on the left side. He fires lefty shot. Blocker saved by Turnus. Kansas City whips it around the boards. Carew out of the box. Chased after a loose puck, but it's taken by Robbie Stucker at the Utah line. Stucker head to center ice as he goes past Mike Gillette. Now it's the left wing. Kansas City enters as Glenn tried to move it ahead as they were looking for Justin Janicki. It's picked up. Now Glenn enters the offensive zone. Siren pass back in. Shot saved by Wells. That shot was taken by Jimmy Glenn. Make that Will Gavin, number 37. Gavin gets some lumber in the back from Salem. Salem got in a fight on Sunday with Trent Zwick. Zwick was about 8 inches taller than him, but Salem held his ground. Grizzlies get it up and not out. Wright gets it across as Hudson Wilson centered it, and it's tapped away by the stick of John Gillette. Gillette's been a strong first-year pro at Holy Cross. Head towards Gavin. He couldn't accept the puck from Wright as it goes past him all the way down for a Kansas City icing. As there's 3:52 left in the first. Still no score. Grizzlies have outshot Kansas City 10-7. When we have a little bit of a moment, we'll go over the rescheduled games for the Grizzlies. There are 3 home games that have been rescheduled, and it includes the final weekend of the regular season. We'll go over that during the first intermission, and we'll also talk about that a little bit when we have time during the second period. Good crowd filing in here to a Friday night. First of a 3-game set. Grizzlies win the draw. Kansas City's won 9 in a row. Boisard left wing. He'll take a lefty shot that goes wide. And as Genev trying to backhand out in front, and Kansas City picks it off. Mavericks towards the left corner deep in their own zone. Charlie Wright over to Gavin, who gets occupied by Gansky. Gansky will get it towards Genev. Genev battles with a Kansas City double team along the far wing boards as Ricketts in the area, but Kansas City's Charlie Wright comes back up with it. As Mavericks out towards Janicki. So the puck is banked off the near wing boards. Janicki dances around. He'll feed it towards his left. As crossing center ice is Charlie Wright dangling back and forth. Tries to get around Gansky, who pushes Wright towards the boards. Now Wright feeds from one corner to the other. Taking it is Ricketts. He'll loft it out to center ice. It's gloved and dropped by number 9, Jackson Judding. Judding and Genev are currently tied for the league lead in points among rookies with 28. Judding, 14 goals, 14 assists. Genev, 12 goals, 16 assists. Bergen battles with Genev at center ice. McCallum will get it ahead. Judding over the offensive line. As he'll stomp on a dime, he'll move it to the middle of the ice. McLaughlin, lefty shot, and that's blocked. Might have been blocked by Friesen. As Genev will loft it out towards the Kansas City line. Puck is taken by Reed Lebster. Lebster gets yanked towards the boards and spun around by McLaughlin. As Harrison O'Prey looks at the play, but he lets it go on. Jack Randall stops in the right corner deep in the Grizzlies zone. They'll move it to the middle of the ice. It's off a Hanson Buchanan's stick. Lebster gets the puck, but it was played with a high stick. Good call by Harrison O'Prey, and that stops play with 2:25 left in the first. Still no score. Grizzlies have outshot the Mavericks 10-7. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
So no score. Grizzlies have outshot the Mavericks 10-7. Utah has had one power play. Had a few shots during that power play, at least 2 or 3 of them. 3 games we mentioned have been rescheduled. The December 26th game against Idaho the day after Christmas has been rescheduled to February 10th. And the December 27th game against Idaho has been rescheduled to April 7th, which is in the final week of the regular season. And with that, the originally scheduled April 8th game against Rapid City has been rescheduled to April 12th, which is a Sunday, and that will turn out to be the final regular season game in Utah Grizzlies history. It will be a Sunday, April 12th. Kansas City lost one out off the Grizzlies stick as they're looking for Berezowski at the Utah line. Salem and Berezowski collide in the right corner. As Stucker battles with the puck, so is Riley Connors. As 3 Grizzlies and 2 Mavericks over on the right side. Barbashev looking nearby with Sean Kennedy. As the scrum continues, now there's less than 2 minutes left in the first period. Outsides of the near side, Barbashev moves it across. Connors gets it off the boards. He'll skate along the right wing, and he'll helicopter it deep in the Maverick zone. Grizzlies make a full line change as Kansas City's Marcus Crawford, who's probably a leading candidate for the league's MVP award. He's been outstanding this year over to Ewens. Ewens will feed it about 5 feet to his right as Nolan Sullivan dumps it in. Ewens collides with Gansky behind Utah's net. Janicki gets back towards Ewens. Ewens will slide the puck along the near wing boards, and it couldn't be reached by Luke Lowhide as it goes deep into the Kansas City zone. As Turnus will feed it around his net towards the far side. Taking the puck is Janicki. He'll wobble on towards center ice. Mavericks will move it towards the far corners. They got a little bit of air under it, about 4 feet. As John Gillette gets the puck, number 24. Gillette out of Middletown, New Jersey. As he collided with the linesman. Linesman got in the way as Gillette was trying to advance the puck. Now Hanson Buchanan has it deep in the Grizzlies zone. 50 seconds and counting left in the first period. Still looking for the game's first goal. Hanson Buchanan will move it to his right for Colby Ends. Ends across the center ice, gets around 2 Mavericks. And losing the puck is Reed Lobster as Kansas City back up with it. Mavericks right wing it towards McCallum, who's at the middle of the ice. He'll drop it off. Jetting right side. He swings and misses as the puck slid off his stick towards Wells, and Wells covers up in the crease as Judding just looking for a quick wrist shot. They tried to elevate and didn't get anything on it, and Wells was able to cover up. That's Kansas City's 8th shot on goal, and Wells has stopped them all as there's 31.9 seconds left in the first. You know, he mentioned for the Grizzlies, it's only their 12th home game this year, which is the lowest mark in the league. For Kansas City, it's just their 14th road game, as Mavericks have been at home for 20 of their first 34 games this year. Reese will take the draw. And it's in the Grizzlies zone. And it's Jackson Judding on the Kansas City side. Judding played at Bemidji State last season. He's a native of Savage, Minnesota. The Grizzlies ice the puck after winning the faceoff. So draw's going to come back towards Dylan Wells with 25.2 seconds left in the first. Dylan Wells, a former NHL draft pick. He was selected in the 5th round by the Edmonton Oilers, 123rd overall, and that was back in 2016. Watching on Flow Sports, there's John Mechanic, the first-year Grizzlies head coach, as he's pacing back and forth. Assistant coach on the bench, Ryan Anderson. In fact, Ryan Anderson's mom, Mickey's tuned into the game. Ryan Anderson also like to say hi to Dave Anderson, who tunes into every game. Grizzlies won the draw. As Freese will move it towards Kansas City ice. 15 seconds left in the period. As Mavericks get it ahead towards Jack Randall, collides with ends. The puck will wobble deep into the Grizzlies zone. 8 seconds left as Lepster gets the puck along the right wing. He'll chip it towards Friesen. It's cut off by Kansas City, who sweeps it ahead. It was overled for McCallum, and time runs out in a very evenly played first period. Grizzlies outshot the Mavericks 10-8. Grizzlies had 4 days off, and Kansas City, they've won 9 in a row. But very evenly matched first period. We're still looking for the game's first goal. We'll come back and recap the first 20 minutes on the other side and also go over some scores and stats from the rest of the action across the league, as well as some NHL scores as well. Still no score. Good defensive first period on both sides. After one period, it's Kansas City nothing and Utah nothing. We're back in 2 minutes with the first intermission report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear, we made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down, we go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, and partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
After one period here at Maverik Center, there's no score between the Grizzlies and the Kansas City Mavericks. Kansas City's won 9 in a row coming into play tonight. And in that winning streak, they've outscored opponents 31-13. In fact, the last time Kansas City lost 2 in a row was October 31st and November 1st. Last Kansas City loss was December 19th as Utah defeated KC 7-4. So it was an evenly played first period. Utah did have one power play in the first period, and that came when Casey Crew got a slashing minor, 13-21 in. Grizzlies had 3 power play shots. So Utah is 0 for 1 on the power play. Marcus Crawford got a tripping minor, 7:55 in. But Harrison O'Prey believed that Danny Genev acted it out a little bit too much, as Genev got 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct. And those penalties were 7:55 in as we skated 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. In terms of the 10 shots Utah had, Luke Salem, Riley Connors, and Reed Lepster, as well as Tyler Gratton. Those 4 players had 2 shots each. And that was Salem, Connors, Lepster, and Gratton. Robbie Stucker and Danny Genev each had 1 shot. For Kansas City, in their 8 shots, Jackson Judding and Will Gavin each had 2, and then 6 other Mavericks, or actually 4 other Mavericks, math is hard sometimes, had 1 shot. Logan Turnus stopped all 10 shots. He's the Kansas City goaltender, and Dylan Wells stopped all 8 Kansas City shots. Really, that was pretty much all it was for the first period. Grizzlies did have 2 giveaways, and that one of them led to the Kansas City breakaway, where Wells made probably the best save that he made all period. Grizzlies had 5 scoring chances to Kansas City's 3. There weren't many face-offs and weren't many stoppages of play. Grizzlies won the face-off battle 7-5 in the first period. We'll go over some of the other stats in the first period here in a couple minutes. It's a busy night across the league. The games have gone final. 12 Riviere defeats Adirondack 3-1. Indy gets a 4-1 road victory over Kalamazoo. Martin, Broadhurst, Marchessault, and Panwar had the Indy goals. In a game played in Orlando, Idaho defeats Orlando 3-0. As the Steelheads got goals from Brendan Hoffman, Ty Pelton-Bice, and Grant Silanoff. Idaho's record goes to 23-10-3. As Idaho is towards the top of the Mountain Division standings with the Idaho victory tonight. They're now just 1 point behind Kansas City for first place, as Kansas City has 50 standings points and Idaho now has 49. Reading defeats Greensboro 6-0 in a shutout. Former Grizzly Brandon Sajan, the Ragin' Sajan, had one of the Reading goals. Petrozelli had a 31-save shutout for the Royals. They defeat Greensboro 6-0. Jeff Carr's Norfolk Admirals get a home victory 2-1 over the Wheeling Nailers. As Norfolk's record goes to 12-19-2, Wheeling falls to 25-8-1. Savannah defeats South Carolina 6-3. Savannah got goals from 6 different players. South Carolina actually outshot Savannah 27-25, but it was Savannah that comes away with a 6-3 victory. Worcester and Maine are currently going to overtime, tied at 2. Callan has both of Worcester's goals. Former Grizzly Andrew Nilsson scored one for Maine. That game is going to overtime, tied at 2. Late third period, Florida leads Jacksonville 5-1. As Florida has outshot Jacksonville 31-23. Former Grizzly Will Cranley is getting the start in net for Florida, and he has saved 22 of 23. Early third period, Rapid City leads Cincinnati 4-3. Former Grizzly Cameron Buell has 2 goals for Rapid City. Early third period, Bloomington leads Fort Wayne 4-2. Mack has 2 goals for Bloomington. No former Grizzly on the scoring sheet for Fort Wayne. After 2 periods, Toledo and Iowa are tied at 2. Brandon Crawford has one of the Toledo goals. Early third period, Allen leads Tulsa 1-0. Danny Caddick has Allen's lone tally, and that came at 19:51 into the second. Early third period, Tahoe leads Wichita 2-1. Jake Derflinger and Casey Bailey of the Tahoe goals, and all-star Kyle Krankovic has found the back of the net for the Wichita Thunder. Here at Maverik Center, we're still looking for the game's first goal. Some stats of the first period. Scoring chances, Kansas City had 3, even though the scorebug says 6. If you're watching on Flow Sports, Grizzlies with 5 scoring chances in the first period. Face-offs, Grizzlies had 7 and Kansas City 5 in the first. Utah outshot Kansas City 10-8. Utah with 3 power play shots in the first period. Kansas City yet to go on the power play. Both teams had 4 hits. Utah with 2 giveaways. Kansas City with none in the first period. Lights on ice just finishing up here at Maverik Center. Pretty good Friday night crowd. First of a 3-game set. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for Youth Sports Night. That's going to be a 7 o'clock start. And then Sunday, January 18th, we'll have a post-game skate where you can skate on the ice with your favorite Grizzlies players. The post-game skate is after Sunday's game. If you don't have skates, you can rent some or just borrow some here at Maverik Center. And that's going to be after the Sunday, January 18th game as the Grizzlies take on Kansas City. Remember, that Sunday game is going to be a 3 o'clock start. When we come back, we'll check in on the NHL scores. We're still looking for the game's first goal here as we're scoreless. Utah with a 10-8 shot advantage over Kansas City. We'll come back and go over some other scores, and eventually we'll get to second period action, or about 10.5 minutes of real time from the start of the second period. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Welcome back to Maverik Center. If it feels like it's been a long time since the Grizzlies had a home game, you'd be right. 34 days between home games for the Grizzlies. Let's go over some NHL scores after one period. The Grizzlies NHL affiliate in Nashville are doing battle over at Ball Arena, and that game is tied at 2. Brock Nelson has both of Colorado's goals, and Ryan O'Reilly has both of Nashville's goals. Avalanche have outshot Nashville 17-10, and after one period, the score is tied at 2. After two periods, Lightning and Blues are tied at 2. Tampa Bay with a 26-12 edge in the shot count. Let's check in on former Grizzly Charles-Edouard Dastu. And no points so far tonight. He has played 12 minutes and 27 seconds. He has appeared in 13 shifts, and he does have one shot on goal. Dastu's been outstanding for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and this is his first season as a pro. Tampa Bay and St. Louis are tied at 2. And it looks like Nikita Kucherov has one of the Tampa goals. Former Utah Hockey Club performer Nick Bjugstad has one of the St. Louis goals. Finals across the NHL, there's 2 of them. Detroit defeats San Jose 4-2. Big game for Alex DeBrincat. He scored a goal. Dylan Larkin, JT Compher, and Marco Kasper each have goals for Detroit. And how about Carolina? They walloped the Florida Panthers 9-1. Hurricanes outshot the Panthers 35-17, and Carolina with a 9-goal performance. Ellers had 3 goals and 1 assist. Nikitchin had 1 goal and 1 assist. Jankowski, 1 goal and 2 assists to lead the Carolina attack. Hurricanes over the Panthers 9-1. Getting underway at 8:30, the Anaheim Ducks and their 22-21-3 record take on the 19-16-11 LA Kings. So that's the NHL scoreboard. Don't forget that tomorrow afternoon, it's a bit of a Utah Pro Hockey doubleheader. The Utah Mammoth will be at the Delta Center taking on the Seattle Kraken at 3 o'clock. And then obviously the Grizzlies here at Maverik Center will take on the Kraken's ECHL affiliate, the Kansas City Mavericks. So that should be a fun pro hockey doubleheader here in the Salt Lake Valley. College basketball action, one big game. Kansas leads Baylor 75-54. Well, we had mentioned in the first period about the 3 rescheduled games the Grizzlies will have for the remainder of the regular season. Remember, the Grizzlies did miss their 2-game homestand due to the player strike. The December 26th game against Idaho has been rescheduled. That's going to be on February 10th. And that's going to be a 7 o'clock start. So the Grizzlies will take on Idaho on February 10th. And that will be followed up by a 3-game series here at Maverik Center, February 13th, 14th, and the 16th. A regularly scheduled 3-game series against the Bloomington Bison. The December 27th game against Idaho has been rescheduled to April 7th. And that will be the final Grizzlies and Steelheads rivalry game. It's towards the end of the season, just as how it should have originally been scheduled. That's going to be Tuesday, April 7th. And then remember the last regular season game was going to be on Saturday, April 11th. But the April 8th game against Rapid City has now been pushed back to April 12th. And so the Grizzlies will now play a 3-game baseball-style weekend series, April 10th, 11th, and 12th. Remember the April 12th, which is going to be Masters Sunday. That is the final regular season game in Utah Grizzlies history. So make sure to get your tickets to utahgrizzlies.com and be part of what is to be sure to be a very emotional and unique night. Unfortunately, with that night, we will say goodbye to the Utah Grizzlies and their 31-year existence here in the Salt Lake Valley. So that's going to be Sunday, April 12th. That's a game that was originally scheduled for April 8th against Rapid City. And not much to speak of in terms of the first period. You know, the Grizzlies did have 3 power play shots. Both teams had good chances. Both goaltenders looked pretty strong early on. Dylan Wells stopped all 8 Kansas City shots, and Logan Turnus stopped all 10 Grizzlies shots at East Sun. The scoring chances were pretty close to even. Grizzlies 5 scoring chances to Kansas City's 3. We'll see what happens here in the second period, but when we come back, we will have second period action. We'll come back in 2 minutes as we're still looking for the game's first goal. Good Friday night crowds filing into Maverik Center. My guess is maybe 4,500, maybe somewhere between 4,500 and 5,000 here in attendance for Fox Night of the Rink. As they're promoting 3 new shows on Fox, we'll make sure to watch those and have some fun with it. And it should be a fun time here at Maverik Center. Make sure to get your tickets for tomorrow night. It's Youth Sports Night. Get your tickets to UtahGrizzlies.com. We'll come back and have second period action on the other side. You've been tuned into the Intermission Report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to AmericaFirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Welcome back to Grizzlies hockey. First period stats. And the stats of the first period look a little bit more action-packed than what it actually was. As there's only 12 faceoffs in the first period. Grizzlies won that battle 7-5 in the first frame. We're still looking for the game's first goal. Utah was on the road for 9 straight games. Now, oddly enough, it started before the Christmas break where Utah split a 2-game series with Kansas City, winning 7-4 on December 19th. And remember, Kansas City got a 3-0 lead late in the third period, but then the Grizzlies scored 2 goals 26 seconds apart. And Utah had some good chances in the final minute to try to tie it up. But Kansas City held on to a 3-2 victory. And for Kansas City, that started a 9-game winning streak. Kansas City has only lost 2 games in a row once this season. And in that 9-game winning streak, they're outscoring opponents 31-13. So it might be tough to score against the goaltender, Logan Turnus. Luke Pavicic is the backup goaltender for Kansas City tonight. And Jack LaFontaine, he was a goaltender when the Grizzlies scored 7 goals. He's currently up in the AHL with Coachella Valley. Show some highlights for watching on Flow Sports of the first period. As Crawford had a good look that was kicked away by Wells. Now left wing shot saved by Wells. And Dylan Wells was strong in the first period. Centering pass off a turnover, and Janicki with a shot. And Dylan Wells just slid towards his right and kind of leaned a little bit forward and cut off the Kansas City angle and made a nice save. Grizzlies are wearing the professional green alternate jerseys. And they certainly look sharp in them. Grizzlies will start out the second period with the forward line of Danny Genev, with Jack Ricketts and John Gillette, and a defensive pairing of Colby Enns and Aiden Hansen-Mukata. They mentioned Colby Enns. He played at Northern Michigan University. He's the pick-to-click of Melissa tonight. You can still make your pick for pick-to-click, because after all, we're just 1 period in on a scoreless game. Enns played at Northern Michigan University for 4 years and then transferred to Merrimack, where he had 4 assists in 29 games last year, and he appeared in 1 game to get his feet wet in pro hockey with Iowa. And we mentioned Northern Michigan because he was teammates with Michael Coella, who's making his Grizzlies debut tonight. Coella played at Northern Michigan University before transferring last season to Canisius. Kansas City wins the draw as the Grizzlies are skating from left to right here in the second period. Ahead to center ice, Genev will drive it back in along the far wing boards. It's cut off by Turnus as Kansas City will sky over the head of Hanson Bukata. Puck hitting opposite the Utah line. Hanson Bukata gets it back as puck towards Gillette at the Utah bench. And it taps out of play towards the Grizzlies bench and towards backup goaltender Dominic Bassey. Bassey, first time he's appeared here at Maverik Center. And I imagine at some point this week he'll make his Maverik Center debut. Bassey joined the club a couple weeks ago. So draws at center ice. Riley Connors will take it for Utah. He's out there with Barbashev and Sean Kennedy. Kennedy making his home debut. He signed with the Grizzlies a couple weeks ago, wearing number 17. It's his fourth game as a Grizzly. And he had a pretty impressive college career. Kennedy looks to be a promising forward as he's put together some hard-working shifts in his 3.5 games with Utah. Kansas City gets it deep towards the right corner of the Grizzlies zone. Now right wing lefty shot saved by Wells. Rebound goes to the middle of the ice, taken by Zach Ewan, so he'll skeet towards the left circle. Ewan fires it back in, shot saved by Wells. Rebound shot and a score. And the Mavericks get on the board 47 seconds into the second period. As Kansas City, it looks like getting the goal is Nolan Sullivan. He gets his 6th of the year. So shot was taken from the left wing, bounced off of Wells, and Sullivan put it away. As Ewans centered it, and it might have been an own goal. As the puck went towards the front of the crease, and then it looked like Sullivan backhanded it off of Wells. I'm not sure if it was batted in by a Grizzly. So Mavericks get on the board first. And getting the goals, Nolan Sullivan, and the assists go to Zach Ewans. Looks like Ewans has the lone assist. That was 47 seconds into the second period. As puck goes into the Kansas City zone, a Grizzly gets knocked down. Left point, Gillette, he'll fire towards the net, and it goes wide. As Ewans gets it ahead towards Jack Randall. Stucker will bounce it off of Gillette. Delayed offside, so Gillette lets Zach Ewans play it. Now Ewans gets chased by Gillette. Ewans slides it across towards Marcus Crawford, who spins around. Twirls. Now he fires a rink-wide feed angle right over the stick of McCallum and all the way down for a Kansas City icing as there's 18:42 left in the second. So John's going to come back towards Logan Turnus, who's 6'1" and 174 pounds. Turnus played at Ohio State University, native of Burnaby, British Columbia. John's going to be over in the left circle. That's taken by Evan Friesen, who's out there with Reed Lepster and Tyler Gratton. Lepster with both palms in the air. I think Andrew Collins had some instructions for him. Grizzlies win the draw. Boislard gets it back in deep around Kansas City's net. Ewans gets it ahead but not out. Friesen skates towards a high slot, fakes it towards Gratton, drops it for Boislard. He'll take a lefty shot, stick saved by Turnus. And now the puck goes back towards Boislard, wearing number 27, across to Gansky. Gansky feeds to the right goal line for Friesen, taps off his stick and kicks off of Turnus's left pad. As Lepster tried to feed Gratton out in front. And the puck went over his stick. Kansas City gets it back. Randall across the center ice. He'll dump it in. He gets tripped up by Noah Gansky. Gansky's not sure about it as Boislard now goes after Randall. As Boislard and Randall collided along the boards behind Kansas City's net. So Kansas City's going to get their first power play. I got to imagine Grizzlies fans are going to like Boislard. He's a very strong player, and he doesn't mind mixing it up from time to time. So Gansky's going to get 2 minutes for tripping as Randall cross center ice. And that was a good call. As Gansky tripped him up, and Gansky immediately knew it. He raised his right palm in the air. Gansky gets 2 minutes for tripping. Time of penalty, 1:53 in. Kansas City on the power play this year is 17.7%. Grizzlies penalty kills 81.2%. So Mavericks have a 1-0 lead. As Nolan Sullivan scored 47 seconds, then was Zach Ewans getting the assist. Grizzlies penalty kill will include Evan Friesen with John Gillette, Colby Enns, and Robbie Stucker. As Friesen will take the draw for Utah against Luke Lohheit. Lohheit 8 goals and 13 assists. He's a +7 this year in 32 games. Luke Lohheit, native of Minnetonka, Minnesota. As now Lohheit arguing with one of the linesmen. He's kicked out of the faceoff circle. Andrew Collins, linesman, dropping the puck. Berezowski will now take the draw against Friesen. Jackson Berezowski out of Yorkton, Saskatchewan. As Kansas City wins the draw. Dancing around. Behind the net is Janicki. Now the Mavericks reverse it back to the left side. Carew gets knocked down by Gillette. Puck goes up top. Ewens fires towards the net. Saved by Wells. Knee holds on. A minute 45 left in Kansas City's power play. 17:52 left in the second. I mentioned a really good Friday night crowd. My guess is there's about 4,000 or 5,000 here in the building. As Wells gets a swig of water wearing number 32. Former draft pick of the Edmonton Oilers back in 2016. Ricketts will take the draw. Ricketts in his first year as a pro. He's got an AHL contract with the Tucson Roadrunners. He's one of 3 players on the Grizzlies to have an AHL contract with Tucson. Ricketts, Barbashev, and Dylan Wells. As the puck is dropped, Kansas City, as it slides towards Utah's backboard, taking his Colby ends. He gets it taken away. Kansas City back in the right corner, dancing around. Lohheit will skate towards the right side. Now he stops. And he'll feed it to his left for Ewens in the left point. As Ewens will get it towards Casey Carew in the left corner, back up top to Ewens, who will direct it to his right. Off the Lohheit stick, he gets it off the boards. As Kansas City gets it across towards Casey Carew on the left side. He's given the Grizzlies fits over the years up top. Now back towards Carew on the left side. Carew just outside the left circle, dangling back and forth. Feeds the left goal line. Berezowski, sharp angle shot, saved by Wells. Grizzlies get it, and they clear it out. Turnus will outlet it towards the Kansas City line. Both teams will switch up skaters. Zach Ewens will stop behind Turnus' net. Turnus with Ohio State colored pads. Kind of scarlet and gray. As left wing feed towards Judding. He tried to get towards Ewens on a give and go. Cutting towards the net. It was overled for Ewens. Grizzlies get it and clear it back to neutral ice. McCallum will backhand it across to Judding near the scores table at center ice. Judding, he'll saucer it in as it ricochets off Utah's backboard. Kansas City will slide it towards the right point. Marcus Crawford accepts the puck. He'll slide it towards his left. McCallum back to Crawford. He's now on the high slide. Fires a righty shot and he scores. Marcus Crawford nods his head up and down, says, yeah, boy, it's 2-0 Kansas City. It's Crawford's 8th of the year. It's a power play goal. And Crawford, he's an MVP candidate for a reason. He's been with the Mavericks for quite a while. As he just kind of fired a wrister that kind of riz a little bit. It was one of those kind of rising wrist shots that found the perfect accuracy over Wells' right shoulder. So the Mavericks with second period goals from Nolan Sullivan and now Marcus Crawford. Crawford scored 3:21 in. It's a power play goal assisted by David Cotton and Landon McCallum. So it's Kansas City 2, Utah 0. Mavericks win the draw. As Jake McLaughlin will get it towards the far side. As the Mavericks dance around, they get it back to McLaughlin, who's been with the Mavericks for quite some time. That's part of Kansas City's success. They've got quite a few defensemen who have been with the organization for multiple years. They've got great chemistry. Boislar behind his net. You mentioned facially, kind of reminds me a bit of Taylor Crunk, who was with the Grizzlies during the 2021-22 season. Puck is overled for Mike Gillette at center ice. Now Gillette knifes it away. He's been with Peoria for quite some time in the SBHL. Right wing, righty shot. And it bounced off of Turnus' glove and goes back to Kansas City. Mavericks cross center ice. They lose control of the puck. John Gillette will slide it back in. So Gillette brothers on the ice at the same time. As the Mavericks throw it towards center ice, Harrison O'Prey, the referee, jumps out of the way. Now the Mavericks will get a full line change in. Rink wide feed, angle right. Intended for Lebster, and he couldn't quite reach as the puck was sliding towards the near wing boards, and it goes all the way down for Utah icing. There's 15:46 left in the second period. Grizzlies have some catching up to do in the Mountain Division standings. We mentioned during the first intermission, Idaho won tonight. Kansas City's in first place in the Mountain Division with 50 standings points and a 758 point percentage. Kansas City is going to be on the road quite a bit the remainder of the regular season. It's only their 14th road game. Mavericks are 10-1-1 on the road. Actually, they're 10-1-1-1. So their basic win-loss record's 10-3 on the road this season. It's only the Grizzlies' 12th home game. So Utah will be home for the majority of the second half of the season. Lebster crosses center ice, and he'll throw it in. Lohheit collides with Gratton, the Grizzlies' captain. Gratton, a second-year pro out of Arizona State and Penn State. As puck slides towards the left wing boards, Gratton and Genev were teammates at Penn State, and they've been two of Utah's best forwards. Down the middle of the ice, keeping his head up is Hudson Wilson. He'll slide it towards his right. Now the Grizzlies get it, and they'll move it out to center ice. Taking the puck is low high. He'll get it ahead. Grizzlies build the wall at the blue line. So dumping it in, Nolan Sullivan chasing after along with Jackson Janicki. Or make that Justin Janicki. As Grizzlies out towards center ice. Friesen over the offensive line. Left wing. Drops for Gratton. Centers to Webster. Webster with the righty shot. Goes over the crossbar. Boy, it looked like coming in front of the crease was Turnus to cut off the angle. Now left wing. Gratton fires it wide. And it ricochets off the glass and hits the protective netting to stop play with 14:54 left in the second. So Utah will have an offensive zone draw. And it's John Mechanic talking things over with the Grizzlies forwards. Utah is rolling with an odd number of forwards tonight. 11 forwards and 60 as Utah has had quite a few injuries to key forwards. Neil Shea's out once again for the second straight game. Stepan Timofeyev's missing his third straight game. Luke Manning's been out for a couple weeks with a lower body injury. Christoph Fillion's missing his fourth straight game. Rylan Kovacevic has been out since mid-November. Avery Winslow and Christian Felton also out of the Grizzlies lineup. As David Cotton lofts it ahead, Berezowski gets spun around by Stucker at center ice. The Mavericks are called for icing with 14:44 left in the second. So with the Grizzlies being a little bit shorthanded, they had just 14 skaters on Sunday and put together a pretty good effort in a 3-2 loss at Tahoe. And with that, the Grizzlies picked up 3 players over the past week. They claimed Mathieu Boyard off of waivers from Adirondack. And then yesterday they signed Mike Gillette and Mikey Coella. Coella started the year with Peoria and then hasn't played since. So he'd been out of action for a couple months. Mike Gillette played in just about 90 games for Peoria over the last few years. He was part of Peoria's 2024 SPHL Championship Club. Kansas City gets the puck out towards center ice. As on the back check, Ricketts drags down a Maverick. No call. There's a linesman that raised his right arm, but the referee failed to raise his arm, so we play on 5-on-5. As near the Utah bench, Geneva battles. Geneva gets hit in the back by Zach Ewens. And it looks like the Grizzlies going to confront Ewens. And Geneva got hit in the back near Utah's bench. What's Harrison O'Prey going to call? As both teams just kind of staring each other down at the Utah bench. As Tyler Gratton, the Grizzlies captain, talking with Harrison O'Prey. Noah Gansky looking nearby to kind of figure out what the conversation's about. Trowski near the Grizzlies bench. As Geneva just got hit in the back by Zach Ewens, got pushed towards the ice, and that stopped play. John Mechanic wanted a call as he raised both palms in the air. And Shania bouncing off the Maverick, and the puck ended up in the Grizzlies bench, and that's why play stopped. Connors will take the draw. First-year pro. Riley Connors is the captain at Yale University during the 2023-24 season. Last year he played at St. Lawrence. Draw won by the Grizzlies, but it goes between the defensive pairing of Gansky and Boyard. As puck goes towards the near side, Barbashev over to Boyard. As he'll have a tap off his stick and chase after it, neutralized. Puck lifts towards the Grizzlies bench, but it stays in play. Connors delivers a hit. Play starting to get physical here on the Maverik Center ice. 6 minutes into the second period, Kansas City leads 2-0 on second period goals from Nolan Sullivan and Marcus Crawford. Puck towards the far side. Connors battles with the Maverick. Loose puck. Connors sweeps it towards the front. Picked off by Kansas City. Left wing feed. Now McCallum moves to the right side for Jack Randall. As Randall skeets around Utah's net as he gets pushed to the boards by Handsome Yukata. AHB, the RIT and Ohio State product. Puck goes up top. McLaughlin fires towards the net. Is sticked away. Ends battles with the Maverick. Connors joins the play. Ends delivers a good shoulder push on a Maverick. Now it's a 2-on-3 scrum with 3 Grizzlies behind Utah's net. And Ends comes out with the puck. Colby Ends will get it ahead towards Barbashev, who races off the boards. Barbashev gets it knifed away by Kansas City on a good defensive play by Hudson Wilson, who's making his 100th pro appearance. As racing out towards center ice, Barbashev hits a Maverick in the back and divorces Justin Janicki from the puck. Now Colby Ends right side, gets to center ice, and he'll fire towards Turnus. Turnus makes the save and drops to keep the play alive. Now Geneva behind the net, dancing around to skate towards the right corner. Grizzlies in the offensive zone, over towards Mike Gillette. Righty shot, saved by Turnus, and he holds on, but Geneva just curled one out towards the right dot. Gillette with a righty shot, and Turnus made the save. Mavericks with second period goals from Sullivan and Crawford. They lead 2-0 with 12:53 left in the second. Both teams have 14 shots. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Grisby commutes to work by riding UTA. It gives him time to make friends and relax before arriving to the Maverik Center. But how can Grisby keep enjoying that feeling throughout the entire day? An idea! Utah Transit Authority, proud sponsors of the Utah Grizzlies.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
Twelve minutes, 53 seconds left in the second period. Kansas City leads 2-0 on goals from Nolan Sullivan and Marcus Crawford. Crawford's goal was on the power play. Draws in the right circle of the Kansas City zone. Grizzlies skate from left to right as we see it from high top section 114. As Lepster, Friesen, and Gratton will be out there for Utah, with Friesen taking the draw. And up top is Robbie Stucker and Luke Salem. Kansas City's Nolan Sullivan's kicked out of the face-off circle. Sullivan, a native of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Quite a few natives of Minnesota on the Kansas City roster. As Friesen crouches down, he takes the draw, and it's won by Utah. Reed Lepster towards the right wing boards, loses control of the puck. It's Janicki, while bouncing off the skate of Friesen. Low height with a right wing feed as Kansas City gets it back towards Janicki. Skates towards the right circle, and he gets around Stucker as he fires it off the boards as Janicki tries to get it back. He tried to slide to the right side. Pass is picked off by Lepster. Reed Lepster over the offensive line, gets to Friesen right side. Lefty shot. It was blocked away by Wilson. Puck hipping out towards Turnus. Now right side Lepster try to drag one towards the net. Tapped off his stick onto Turnus, who makes the stop with 12:28 left in the second. So it's going to be an offensive zone face-off for Utah. We mentioned during the pregame show how the Grizzlies have been very aggressive offensively as of late. Over their last 7 games, they've taken 41.28 shots per game. They're currently third in the league in shots per game. Kansas City, they like to control the puck and they like to control the pace of a game. Mavericks are taking close to 35 shots per game and are allowing 26.4. Off the draw, shot by Boislar is blocked as Kansas City race after a loose puck. Luke Lemaster tried to move it towards Gavin in the middle of the ice and kicked off a Grizzly. Lemaster, the former Grizzly, will move it across towards Gavin. Gavin will skate around the center ice logo. Now he'll drop it for Ewens in the left wing. Ewens will fire it in deep as the puck rolls along the boards towards the right corner. Skansky across towards Boisard. Boisard ahead towards center ice. Ricketts to the right wing. He's trying to get to Geneva, couldn't quite reach it in time off the wall. As Gavin will backhand it across towards the Grizzlies bench. Crawford at center ice. He'll wobble one in. Wells collects it on one hop of the ice in the butterfly position, holds on. 11:50s left in the second, and the Mavericks will have an offensive zone draw. Tato had 6 seasons as the Kansas City head coach, and it's really been an interesting run. He was about a 500 head coach, and the Mavericks were a 500 team his first 3 years as Mavericks head coach. However, since the start of the 2023-24 season, Kansas City's got a record of 127, 69, and 4. As they won the Western Conference back in 2024 with one of the best regular seasons in league history. It's pretty warm here at the Maverik Center. Almost would be the type of temperature that you would see for a gymnastics meet. Remember, the Grizzlies, or the Maverik Center, had some gymnastics meets here last weekend, as well as the Best of Utah gymnastics meet this past Monday. It's very warm here in the Maverik Center tonight. Grizzlies win the draws. Colby Enns slices one along the boards near side. It goes past Barbashev and everyone, and it goes down for Utah icing with 11:43 left in the second. First of a 3-game set. Both teams will meet on Saturday night at 7 o'clock and Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Don't forget, tomorrow night is Youth Sports Night. Your tickets at UtahGrizzlies.com. Then next week, the Grizzlies will be on the road for a 3-game series against the Rapid City Rush. That's going to be January 23rd, 24th, and 25th. So draw's going to be over in the right circle. Grizzlies have outshot the Mavericks 15-14. Let's see what sparks the Grizzlies here in this second period. Kansas City wins the draw. Mavericks Marcus Crawford skates around Wells' net. Wraparound shot saved by Wells. Everybody hacking away. The puck is tapped off a Grizzlies stick. Berezowski moves it across, and it's off a Barbashev's stick as the puck wobbles like a spinning top towards the Kansas City blue line. As McLaughlin tried to one-handed ahead. It goes towards David Cotton, who gets cut off by Ends. Now Barbashev skates towards the right corner, and he gets hit by McLaughlin. As Kennedy gets pushed to the boards by Bergeron. Connors backhands it up top to Colby Ends. Ends with a hot pass off of Connors towards the right goal line. Barbashev, left goal line. Backhands one out in front. It's picked off by Bergeron. Bergeron towards the far side as he avoids Barbashev's stick but gets divorced from the puck. Kansas City moves it across. Berezowski will drop it to the right corner. He gets pushed by Barbashev. Fans like the physical play. Rink-wide feed, angle left, goes to Cotton. He'll drop it. Left side, righty shot by Crew. Blocker saved by Wells, and it flies out of play off the protective netting. 10:48 left in the second. Kansas City leads 2-0. The fans make some noise here at Maverik Center. Make sure to follow the Grizzlies on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now known as X, as well as TikTok. And the Grizzlies are absolute superstars on TikTok. Jack Ricketts will take the draw against Jackson Judding. Neither Judding or Genev have a point yet. Both guys are tied for the league lead among rookies with 28 points this season. Jackson Judding, a native of Savage, Minnesota. He's got 5 game-winning goals this season, does Judding, which is time for the league lead. Webster leads Utah with 4 game winners. Mikey Coella skates around Kansas City's net. He's a speedy forward over to Ricketts, now up top to Salem. Salem fires lefty shot, redirection, score! Grizzlies get on the board with 10:32 left in the second. Salem helicoptered one towards the net, and it looks like Mikey Coella gets the goal. Save that puck, DJ McFarland, as Coella gets his first pro goal as he high-fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench. Puck ended up top as Ricketts got it up top, and Salem fired towards the net, and it was believed that Mikey Coella redirected the shot. Hard to tell with the replay, but Coella was about 20 feet in front of the crease. Looked like Mike Gillette was out in front, but it was Mikey Coella who appears he redirected, and the off-ice officials are going to take their time to see who gets credited with the goal. So it's now a 2-1 game. And is the first pro goal for Mikey Coella, with Luke Salem and Jack Ricketts getting the assists. Coella had 4 goals in 36 games with Canisius College last year. He had a monster year in his second season at Northern Michigan University, where he had 15 goals in 37 games during the 2021-22 campaign. Coella, 26 years old, out of Turnersville, New Jersey. And if you are wondering, that's about an hour drive away from Trenton. Coella, 5'7", 150 pounds. As they confirm the goal, Mikey Coella with his first pro goal, with Luke Salem and Jack Ricketts getting the assists. So a lot of action here in the second period after an evenly played first frame. Sullivan from the left wing at neutral ice, still ricocheting off the boards. The net comes crashing open as players from both teams were chasing after the loose puck from behind the net. And the net gets dislodged as Luke Salem is in the area with Evan Friesen. As they announce Mikey Coella getting his first pro goal. Luke Salem has racked up some assists as of late. He played well for the Grizzlies during the Tahoe series. And Jack Ricketts with an assist, has 10 on the season. For Ricketts, he now has a point in 16 different games this season. So Utah with a little bit of momentum after the Mikey Coella goal. And pretty good hands for Coella. He was about 20 feet in front of the crease. There was Mike Gillette out in front of the net. Coella was about halfway from Salem to Gillette. As Grizzlies get the puck after blocking a shot, Reed Webster gets it ahead towards Tyler Gratton. Bouncing puck. Gratton drops it off. Nobody was home except for a Maverick. As Webster skates around Kansas City's net, he's towards the far side. Webster gets a collision with Crawford. Now the puck will kick out to center ice. Grizzlies reset. Hanson Buchanan will skate back into the Grizzlies zone. Now he outlets it ahead along the left wing for Gratton. Gratton tries to split a double team and does so successfully. Gratton skates in, drops it in front of the crease looking for Webster. And it's taken away by Kansas City. Mavericks move it ahead towards center ice. Hanson Buchanan takes it away and he'll move it to Lebster. Now to the left wing. Friesen skates in, lefty shot. And bounced off of Turnus, and it flies out of play. As Friesen pounds his stick on the boards as he knows he missed one. Grizzlies with a good chance to tie it up, and Friesen just bounced it off the left arm of Turnus, and the puck flew out of play. 9:33 is left in the second period. Draws give me the Maverick zone. Grizzlies are out shooting Kansas City 17-16. We're talking about performers who have been outstanding over the last month. You got to include Evan Friesen. He's got a point in 8 of his last 12 games. He was a +6 in 10 games in December. On January 3rd in Wichita, Friesen had 7 shots on goal. So he's done some great things offensively. Utah wins a draw. Geneva gets it up top. Boisard over towards Geneva will bounce to the right corner. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the period. As Grattan gives some lumber towards Kansas City in the back of Jake McLaughlin. McLaughlin, as the referee, jumps out of the way as McLaughlin is skating towards the near wing boards. He gets cut off. Now the Grizzlies in the offensive zone. Geneva gets dragged down. Boisard will backhand it towards Hanson Buchanan. Grizzlies re-enter from the right wing. As Geneva over in the high slot, he fires lefty shot, just kind of sweeping one towards Turnus and misses wide. Geneva and Turnus each played in the Big Ten. Geneva at Penn State and Turnus at Ohio State. As Jimmy Glenn throws it deep into the Grizzlies zone. Hanson Buchanan along with Ricketts. As Ricketts gets taken away by Gavin, but slides towards Boisard. Now right wing, lefty shot, kick saved by Wells off his right pad. Shot was taken by Will Gavin. Now towards the right wing, one-timer to scores. That was a blast from the right circle that just helicoptered over Wells' right shoulder. And just like that, it's now a 3-1 game. And that was Charlie Wright getting his first of the year. So Wright gets Kansas City's third goal of this second period. He just fired a laser past Dylan Wells. Got a little bit of iron, but the iron was kind off the bar. That is Wright's 5th pro goal. He had 4 goals last season for Kansas City. So Wright with the goal. The assists go to Luke Lemaster, the former Grizzly, now has a point in back-to-back games against Utah. And Nolan Sullivan, who now has a multiple-point game with 1 goal and 1 assist. Sullivan now has 15 assists on the year. Kansas City's Hudson Wilson whips it around the boards. Puck goes towards Wright in the right point. He has a tap off his stick. As Riley Connors crosses center ice, steps over the offensive line, but Sean Kennedy came in before Connors advanced over the Kansas City line with the puck. 8:27 left in the second period, and we've seen a ton of action here so far in the middle frame after a very evenly played first period. As Kansas City got on the board 47 seconds into the second period with Sullivan getting his 6th of the year. And then Kansas City made it a 2-0 game when Crawford scored on a power play, 3:21 in. Congratulations to Michael Coella getting his first pro goal, redirecting a Luke Salem shot, 9:28 in. Ricketts also with an assist. And then Charlie Wright on a one-timer from the right circle. He just fired it over Dylan Wells, got a little bit of iron. Kansas City now leads 3-1. Mavericks over the offensive line. Puck bounces to the middle of the ice. Cotton dangles back and forth. They'll drop it towards the left goal line. Mavericks feed it towards the right side. It's off a Carew stick. Mavericks back towards the right wing in a white jersey with black numbers and a little bit of orange mixed into the middle of the jersey. Right over to Wilson just outside the left circle. Back to Wright down the middle of the ice. Still pedal towards his left. Right now to the left point. Fires towards the net. Glove saved by Wells. That one might have gotten redirected. It was a tricky helicopter. About waist high, Wells was able to snatch it about waist high as he was crouching down towards the butterfly with 7:46 left in the second. So the faceoff's going to be in the Grizzlies zone as Utah's got some work to do trying to come back in this game. So draws game over in the left circle. Jackson Judding will take it for Kansas City. Can't quite see who the Grizzly is. Looks like it's John Gillette. As both of the Gillette brothers are on the ice, Mike and John with Danny Geneva. Remember, the Grizzlies are going with an odd number of forwards, 11 forwards, so it seems like the forward lines have been mixed and matched from time to time here. Big-time hit as a Grizzly goes down. As John Gillette, he got his bell rung. As he'll skate towards the bench. He got hit high and hard. As Gillette will be replaced by Evan Friesen. As John Gillette will be looked at by Brooke Timoney, the Grizzlies trainer. As Landon McCallum crosses center ice, gets towards Judding, who tries to negotiate his way around 3 Grizzlies. He fires towards the net, and it goes wide as Judding was falling on 2 knees as he was taking the shot. Marcus Crawford at center ice loses control of the puck. Friesen Gets taken away by Crawford, and Crawford with the horizontal pass to Jutting off his stick. Jutting tried to one-handed across and pass Stucker. Now the puck goes towards the near circle, taken by Friesen. Evan Friesen, the first-year pro, played with Wenatchee in the WHL, crosses center ice, no move it in. Turnus rolls along the boards. Grizzlies will switch up defensemen as Kansas City slides it towards Jutting, number 9. He'll pitch it back deep in his own zone for Jake McLaughlin. He's got 2 goals and 7 assists in 33 games. Jack Randall crosses center ice. No wobble it in as the Mavericks make a line change. Boysiar behind his net as Kansas City towards the right wing. Now they cycle it back towards Lowhite in the corner. Lowhite feeds to the far circle. Nobody home. As Tyler Gratton gets it across towards Colby Enns, who gets it off the boards at center ice. Enns directs it along the wall as Gratton gets hit by a Maverick. And that was Drake Bergeron, number 16. As the Mavericks skate towards the near side, Gratton cuts off a Maverick, pushes up top. Dancing around is Jack Ricketts. He'll feed it up top for Colby Enns. Righty shot, saved by Turnus. Enns has been outstanding offensively as of late. Turnus made the stop. Now Gratton behind Kansas City's net. He gets taken away by a double team. Gratton trips up McLaughlin. No call. Jack Ricketts towards the right side. Tried to lumber it towards Ricketts. And it's taken away by Kansas City. Towards center ice, Janicki dumps it in. As the Mavericks will fit in a line change. Rink-wide feed towards the Kansas City line. Goes past Geneva and all the way down for a Utah icing. As there's 5:48 left in the second period. During the Grizzlies road trip, which spanned about 5 weeks, the All-Star teams were announced, and Danny Geneva is going to be representing the Grizzlies on Monday, January 20th in Allen, Texas. It's going to be a collection of league All-Stars going up against the Allen Americans, as Allen is the host team. With that, each team just got one All-Star representative, and obviously with the replacements to the All-Star squad, other teams may be able to add a second player, and I would hope that Reed Webster at some point this weekend gets selected as an All-Star, as he's certainly deserving. He's tied for third in the league with 17 goals on the season. But Danny Geneva, who's been an outstanding rookie, he's a favorite and a strong candidate for the league's Rookie of the Year award. I know Kansas City would say that Jutting would be a candidate for the Rookie of the Year award. Down the middle of the ice, righty shot saved by Wells off the draws. Colby Enns will tap it off the glass. Puck goes to center ice as Hudson Wilson, very patient near the Utah line, will move it to his right as Gavin drives it in deep. As Ricketts lets it go towards center ice, chasing after it's Hudson Wilson. Geneva closes the gap, but Wilson comes up with a puck. As Wilson over to Lemaster, he'll tattoo it off the near boards. As Salem, he gets collided into with Will Gavin. As Kansas City has the puck in their own zone. As they cross center ice, and they'll fire it off the glass. They'll make a line change. Wells behind his net cuts it off. He has saved 17 of 20 so far. Grizzlies will loop it out towards the Kansas City line. Puck hipping off to Marcus Crawford, who's been a long-time Maverick. And the Mavericks have had great consistency in terms of defensemen on their roster. Almost everybody's a multiple-year Maverick, and that's part of their success. They've got great chemistry because they've had a lot of guys that have come back from year to year to the Kansas City club. Zach Ewens crosses center ice, left wing. Now he moves to his right. Now Ewens just outside the right circle. Mavericks are in the offensive zone. Crawford dangling back and forth, walks in. Now I'll push it to the right circle. Ewens gets a basketball screen from Crawford as Ewens will lift it over the stick of David Cotton. Cotton in the left corner gets belted by Barbashev as Hanson Bukana gets some lumber in the back from Jackson Berezowski. Grizzlies carried across center ice. Kennedy right wings it towards Barbashev. Maxime Barbashev fakes it towards Connors. Now bounces across. Boysiar skates towards the left corner, loses control of the puck as Casey Crew collides with Harrison O'Prey, and he'll drop it off. As Mavericks spread the ice, and they'll sky it just under the video board. Puck bounces near the Kansas City bench, and the Mavericks will push it back towards Ewens. As Ewens will loft it over a Grizzlies' head, and it bounces off the waist as Randall centers it, and it goes all the way towards Wells for a stop. As Randall tried to find a cutter out in front, and the puck went all the way towards Dylan Wells, who stops it in front of the crease. He holds on with 3:53 left in the second. Time out of the ice will take one as well. Mavericks lead the Grizzlies 3-1 as Michael Coelho scored his first pro goal for Utah. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
3 minutes, 53 seconds left in the second period. As Drozgame in the Grizzlies zone. No goals in the first period. Action has certainly picked up here in the second. As Kansas City got second period goals from Nolan Sullivan, along with Marcus Crawford and Charlie Wright. Utah got a goal from Mikey Coella, 9:28 in. 9:28 in, he redirected a Luke Salem shot. Coella, Mike Gillette, and Mathieu Boislar making their Grizzlies debut. Sean Kennedy is making his Maverik Center debut. Draws over in the left circle of the Grizzlies zone. It's won by Kansas City. They'll slide it up top. Lefty shot, glove saved by Wells. That shot was taken by Jake McLaughlin. So Wells snatched it about knee high. Holds on, 3:49 left in the second. Draws going to be back into the left circle. As Coella will take the draw for Utah against Jackson Judding. Puck hipping up towards McCollum. He'll drop it for McLaughlin. Fires lefty low liner. Glove saved by Wells. Some traffic out in front of us. Robbie Stucker is boxing out Casey Crew for the puck. So Wells holds on. And Draw's going to be back in the left circle of the Grizzlies zone as Utah will switch up forwards. They'll actually get a fresh five-man unit on the ice. The forward line of Friesen, Lebster, and Gratton. The defensive pairing of Colby Enns and Aiden Hansen-Bukata. Hansen-Bukata and Enns have been two of Utah's most dependable first-year pros. Grizzlies have had a lot of rookies step up and play well. Off the drop, Enns gets it, and he'll fire it off the glass. Puck goes all the way down for Utah icing with 3:37 left in the second period. So we only had a combined 12 faceoffs in the first period. We've had quite a few more than that here in the second. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night, 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 faceoff, and make sure to get your tickets. And you can probably make it a pro hockey doubleheader. Remember, the Utah Mammoth have an afternoon game at 3 o'clock against the Kansas City Mavericks NHL affiliate, the Seattle Kraken. Draw won by Kansas City. McCallum gets it up top off of McLaughlin's skate as Judding feeds it towards the right corner as a Maverick falls down, ends with a puck. He gets hit in the side. Enns played his college hockey at Northern Michigan and Merrimack. Friesen races along the right wing. Stops before he gets to the corner. Tried to feed somebody in the right dot, and that was Hansen-Bukata. Was picked off by the Mavericks. As Gratton delivers a big-time hit along the Kansas City backboards as he lit up Jackson Judding. Puck deep in the Grizzlies zone. Hansen-Bukata collides with Randall. Taking the puck is Lebster, who will skate around Wells' net. Lebster outlets it to center ice, and it goes tape to Friesen. Friesen's been outstanding in the second period. Tried to get to Gratton, but it was overled for him over in the left circle. As Kansas City will direct it towards McCallum. As McCallum will move it towards Janicki, and Janicki will fire it off as Stucker's skate. 2-on-2 scrum. Stucker delivering a big blow. Penalties called, and a shot saved by Wells. And now it looks like Stucker got cross-checked in front of the crease. That's got to be a penalty as well. Stucker hit a Maverick in the back, and Hudson Wilson, after the whistle, retaliated and fired his stick along the back of Robbie Stucker. And Wilson is pointing towards the hit that Stucker laid on a Kansas City player. A penalty was called there. And if you call that penalty on Stucker, you got to call it on Wilson as well. And I think Harrison O'Prey is telling Hudson Wilson, you're coming to the box as well. So it would have been a Kansas City power play, but Hudson Wilson couldn't keep his cool. And so now we're going to skate 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. As Stucker, the big-time cross-check in the corner, and then the shot was taken. Wells made the stop. And then Hudson Wilson came in, and that was a deliberate check to the lower back of Robbie Stucker. And so for that, Kansas City would have had a power play, but Wilson lost his cool, and now we're going to skate 4-on-4 as a result. Both penalties, 17-21 into the second. And both guys got cross-checking minors. Stucker for the Grizzlies and Wilson for Kansas City. 2 minutes, 39 seconds left in the second period. We'll see if the 4-on-4 situation can open up the ice a little bit for the Grizzlies to get some scoring chances on Logan Turnus. Kansas City has outshot the Grizzlies 15-8 so far in the second period. Low Height will take the draw against Jack Ricketts. So we're skating 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Fans are having a good time despite the fact that Kansas City has a 3-1 lead. Grizzlies won the draw as Colby Enns will bounce it ahead. As Ricketts going after a loose puck, it slides to new tries. Kansas City will back it out into their own zone to slow it down and set up shop. Crawford is being chased by Genev. Crawford gets it across towards Lowhide, who slides it to center ice. Sullivan crosses center ice. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. I'll drop it for Lowhide, who steps over the offensive line, but Ewens came in before Lowhide. Delivered into the offensive zone with the puck, so offside to the Mavericks with 2:14 left in the second. During the second intermission, we'll go over some league scores. We'll even check in on the league standings. Grizzlies do have a little bit of catching up to do to get back in the playoff race. But as we mentioned, the Grizzlies will have a ton of home games in the second half of the season. It's game 34 of the regular year for the Grizzlies, and it's only their 12th home game. Grizzlies have had the fewest amount of home games of any team in the league. Utah wins the draw, still skating 4-on-4. Riley Connors, a new tries. He'll feed it towards Enns. Enns off of Kansas City, sticking the puck, flies. That's a cross-country flight if I've ever seen one deep into the Grizzlies zone. As Colby Enns, he's battling with Jack Randall. As Enns trying to break free, Randall continues to battle with him. As Randall slides it towards the near goal line, it's taken by Hanson Bukatu, who sweeps across ice. Colby Enns gets the puck, and he'll drop it back for Riley Connors. We're halfway through the 4-on-4. About a minute and a half left in the second period. Bouncing puck. Kansas City gets it. Randall down the middle. Takes a lefty shot. And it's off of Hanson Bukata. Stick and it flies out of play as there's a minute 32 left in the second period. Going back to Danny Genev, who's obviously been a standout in the first half of the year. He's representing the Grizzlies in the All-Star game on Monday. He's the first Grizzly forward since Caleb Herbert in 2019. To be selected as an All-Star. The Grizzlies had a string of 5 straight defensemen who were selected as All-Stars. There wasn't an All-Star game last year, but Derek Daschke represented the Grizzlies on the All-Star team, at least in terms of on paper. 2 years ago, Kyle Mayhew was in the All-Star game. That was in 2024. The year before that, Andrew Nilsson, who incidentally enough scored a goal for Maine tonight. Nilsson was a 2023 All-Star, and he really made it based on one game he had in Kansas City where he had 6 assists. Charles Edward Dastu is currently in the NHL with Tampa Bay. He represented the Grizzlies in 2022, and in that 2022 All-Star game, the MVP of the game was Marcus Crawford of Kansas City. Grizzlies over the offensive line. Fancy moves by Barbashev. Will drop it for Gillette, and John Gillette gets a cut off by Charlie Wright. Big-time hit as Barbashev went down. He was hit by Casey Crew. Kansas City skates in. Righty shot saved by Wells. As there's about a minute remaining left in the second period. As the puck bounces behind Wells' net, Ewens feeds it the middle. Bergeron will drop back to the left point. Gets across to Charlie Wright. Wright spins off a Boislar check. Now Wright skates the right side. Shot and hits the near post. And it stays a 3-1 game. Wright already has 1 goal tonight. It was his first of the season. He had 4 for Kansas City. Now we're back to skating 5-on-5 as Stucker skates back to the Grizzlies bench, and Hudson Wilson will also skate to the Kansas City bench. Grizzlies center it, and it's off the Kansas City stick as they're looking for Friesen out in front. Now the Mavericks backing out into their own zone. About 24 seconds left in the second period. Ahead to Glenn off his stick at the Utah line. Grizzlies will fire it off to Landon McCallum. As Colby Enns moves it across, 12 seconds left in the period. Loose puck, Hanson Bukata gets there a stride ahead of Jimmy Glenn. Now Friesen towards the far wing boards. A bit of a scrum in the far corner. Now the Grizzlies get it with Reed Lebster. He'll race out to new tries. He crosses the center red line and bounce one in. As he goes towards the left corner, and that will do it for 40 minutes as Crawford and Lebster push each other at the buzzer. The highlight of the second period was the first pro goal for Mikey Koala. He scored about halfway through the second period, but Kansas City scored 3 in the frame as Nolan Sullivan, Marcus Crawford, and Charlie Wright found the back of the net. Mikey Koala's goal came at 9:28 into the second period as he redirected a Luke Salem shot. Jack Ricketts also picked up an assist for Utah. So we'll see if the Grizzlies have a third period comeback in them. Utah has been a strong third period club this season. In fact, Utah has scored a third period goal in 15 of their last 16 games. After 2 periods, Kansas City leads Utah 3-1. We'll come back and recap the first 40 minutes of play. You're tuned in to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Now we're through 2 periods here at Maverik Center as Kansas City leads Utah 3-1. Nobody scored in the first period. Utah outshot Kansas City 10-8. Grizzlies had 5 scoring chances to Kansas City's 3 in the first period. Mavericks got on the board 47 seconds in as Nolan Sullivan got a 6th of the year. Zach Ewens and Luke Lohheit with the assist. And it was kind of an odd play where it looked like Sullivan collected a centering pass from Ewens, backhanded it off of Wells. And I'm not sure if it ricocheted off of Salem for an own goal in the back of Utah's net, but it kind of had an awkward bounce in Kansas City. I guess you could call it a fortuitous bounce. Certainly a big word for me to use, but it was a fortuitous bounce that gave Kansas City a 1-0 lead. Then the Mavericks got a power play as Noah Gansky got a tripping minor 153 in. And late in the power play, Marcus Crawford scored his 8th of the year as he was in the high slot, kind of a quick-looking wrister that just helicoptered its way and kind of rose. It was kind of a riser that ended up firing past Wells' right shoulder. It had the perfect accuracy, and Marcus Crawford was the 2022 All-Star MVP. He scored his 8th of the year in the column, and David Cotton with the assist, and that made it a 2-0 game. And the Grizzlies got on the board about halfway through the second period as Luke Salem got the puck in the left point. There was Mikey Coelho, who was about 20 feet in front of the crease, and then there was Mike Gillette. Both Coelho and Gillette are making their Grizzlies debuts, and Gillette was in front of the crease. And Salem shot ricocheted off of Coelho and found the back of the net. Mikey Coelho making his Grizzlies debut, and it's his league debut. He played in one SBHL game last season. Coelho played at Northern Michigan University in Canisius. He gets his first pro goal in 9:28 into the second period. He is now the 9th different Grizzly player to score his first pro goal this season. And he's the first Grizzly to score his first pro goal since Aiden Hansen-Bukata on December 6th. So congratulations to Mikey Coelho. He scored 9:28 into the second period, with Luke Salem and Jack Ricketts getting the assists. Then Kansas City extended the lead to 3-1 as Charlie Wright scored on a one-timer from the right wing. Luke LeMaster and Hudson Wilson picked up the assists. Second period stats, there were quite a few more faceoffs in the second period. Kansas City won that battle 15-14. Mavericks outshot Utah 16-8 in the second period. Mavericks had 3 power play shots. Grizzlies didn't get a power play in the second period. Mavericks had 6 hits. Grizzlies with 5 in the second period, and both teams had 1 giveaway Utah has 3 giveaways to Kansas City's 1 through 2 periods. So in terms of scoring chances, they've been pretty close to even. Kansas City has 11, Utah has 9 through 2 periods. Mavericks, as we've mentioned a couple times, like to dominate the shot count, as on average they're out shooting their opponents by 8 per game. And the Grizzlies, they are taking an average of 41 shots over the last 7 games. So the Grizzlies, right now, they've got 18 shots. And I got to imagine in order to try to climb back into this one, the Grizzlies might run and gun a little bit, and we might see a third period that has probably 14 or more shots for the Grizzlies. So if you're watching on Flow Sports, there's the second period stats. As Kansas City leads 3-1. Charlie Wright scored on the one-timer, 11-18 in. Former Grizzly Luke Lemaster as well as Hudson Wilson picked up the assists. Robbie Stucker got a cross-checking minor, 17-21 in, and then after the whistle, Hudson Wilson skated over. He thought that Stucker hit the Kansas City player in the back a little bit too hard, and then Wilson returned the favor. Would have been a Kansas City power play, but Wilson couldn't keep his cool enough to just let it go, and Wilson cross-checked Stucker in the back, and so both guys were in the box. And so we've had 2 different instances where we've had 2 minutes worth of 4-on-4 action. We had 2 minutes worth of a 4-on-4 close to halfway through the first period, and then late in the second period had 4-on-4 action. And that was, the penalties were with 2:39 left in the period, so close to the last 3 minutes. We're skating 4-on-4. Attendance has been announced tonight, and we'll give you a couple minutes to think about it. Can you guess the attendance? That's what's going to be here at Maverik Center. It's one of the biggest crowds that we've had all season. Kansas City leads Utah 3-1. All right, I've given you a few seconds to think about it. The attendance tonight is 5,095. 5,095 is the announced attendance here at Maverik Center, one of the biggest crowds so far in the regular season. And as we mentioned, it's only the 12th home game for Utah, so the Grizzlies will be at home quite a bit during the second half of the season. If you joined us later, if you didn't see it on social media, there were 3 games that were rescheduled. Remember, there was a player strike across the league that postponed the 2-game series at Maverik Center as the Grizzlies were set to face the Idaho Steelheads. The first of that series was December 26th, and that game has been rescheduled to February 10th. That's my brother's birthday, February 10th, as the Grizzlies will face the Steelheads here at Maverik Center. The December 27th game against Idaho has been rescheduled to the final week of the regular season. That's going to be a rare Tuesday home game, April 7th here at the Maverik Center ice. And then the Grizzlies had an April 8th game against Rapid City, and that one's been moved back from Wednesday, April 8th to Sunday, April 12th. So we thought that the last game in Grizzlies history in the regular season was going to be April 11th on a Saturday night. That's going to be the last Saturday home game in team history, but the Sunday, April 12th game, which is Masters Sunday, is going to be the final regular season game in Grizzlies history. It's going to be a 3 o'clock start. Make sure to get your tickets to UtahGrizzlies.com and be part of Grizzmania for what should be a crazy and emotional night. You talk about the Grizzlies having a ton of home games in the second half of the regular season. The Grizzlies will end the year with 10 straight home games. So you're talking about an action-packed, actually 9 straight home games to end the regular season. Math is hard sometimes. Grizzlies will actually be home for 12 of their final 15 games in the regular season. So make sure to get your tickets. We're going to have a ton of fun for the rest of the regular season here at UtahGrizzlies.com and here at Maverik Center. As we're making a bunch of memories, and we're trying to have as much fun as we can in this Utah Grizzlies final hunt. Before we head to break, let's go over some other scores across the league. This is the only game in progress in the league. Every other game has gone final. Wichita at home gets a 3-2 victory over Tahoe. Game-winning goal was scored by Ryan Finnegan, 10:05 in. Allen defeats Tulsa 4-1. Danny Caddick with 3 goals. Hank Crone found the back of the net as well. So a hat trick for Danny Caddick. And Allen with 4 goals on 24 shots. They defeat Tulsa 4-1. Toledo gets a 4-3 victory over Iowa. Game-winning goal was scored by Brandon Hawkins, 16:25 in. Bloomington defeats Fort Wayne 5-2. Mack had 2 goals for the Bison. Remember, Bloomington's going to be here at Maverik Center on February 13th, 14th, and 16th. Cincinnati comes back and defeats Rapid City 5-4 in overtime. Jaworski scored the game winner, 2:52 into OT. Former Grizzly Cameron Buell had 2 goals for Rapid City in the loss, one in the first period and one in the third. Florida defeats Jacksonville 5-1. Former Grizzly Will Cranley gets the victory in net as he saved 23 of 24. So Will Cranley, he's had a pretty good year for the Everblades, who have had an outstanding season. Florida's a perennial contender in this league as the Everblades record goes to 24-6-3-1 on the season. In a shootout, Worcester defeats Maine 3-2. Former Grizzly Andrew Nilsson scored a goal for Maine. Ryan Mioto scored the game winner in a shootout for the Worcester Railers. A couple other finals. Savannah defeats South Carolina 6-3. Jeff Carr's Norfolk Admirals defeat Wheeling 2-1. That's a bit of an upset. Just the 8th loss in regulation for Wheeling this season. Reading gets goals from 6 different players, including former Grizzly Brandon Sajan. The Ragin' Sajan scored 13:57 in. Reading 6, Greensboro nothing. Idaho defeats Orlando 3-0 as Brendan Hoffman, Ty Pelton Bice, and Grant Silanoff found the back of the net. It was former Grizzly Jake Barcheski. Congratulations to DJ Barzo. Barcheski with a 31-save shutout. So congratulations to last season's Grizzly top winner, Jake Barcheski. He gets the 31-save shutout. Idaho gets a 3-0 victory over the Orlando Solar Bears. 2 other finals, Indy defeats Kalamazoo 4-1. And Trois Rivières gets a 3-1 victory over Adirondack. And in that game, Gaudreau stopped 18 of 19. Martin Brodor's son, Jeremy Brodor, got the loss, stopping 36 of 39 for the Adirondack Thunder. When we come back, we'll check in on the handful of NHL games tonight. Once again, congratulations to former Grizzly Jake Barcheski. He gets his first pro shutout, stopping all 31 Orlando shots earlier tonight. We'll come back and go over some NHL scores, maybe some college basketball scores as well. After 2 periods, it's Fox Night at the rink, and Kansas City leads Utah 3-1. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Since 1939, America First has helped people start businesses, buy homes and cars, and achieve their financial goals. Today, our top priority is still the financial success of you and your family, which is why we're giving new members $100 when they sign up for a basic savings and checking account, and another $100 when they upgrade to premium checking and enroll in and use direct deposit. So head to AmericaFirst.com today and join the credit union that always puts its members first.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Maverik's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverik, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
Welcome back to Maverik Center. Upcoming schedule for the Grizzlies. The series continues with the Kansas City Mavericks tomorrow night at 7 o'clock and Sunday, January 18th at 3 p.m. Then the Grizzlies will be on the road taking on the Rapid City Rush, who are led by Ryan Wagner and Briley Wood. And that series against Rapid City is going to be a 3-game set. January 23rd and 24th is going to be 7 o'clock starts, and Sunday, January 25th, will be at 4 p.m. Grizzlies' next homestand will be a 3-game set against Keaton Mastrodonado's Greenville Swamp Rabbits. It's going to be January 28th, 30th, and 31st. Face off all 3 nights, and that series will be at 7:10. Handful of games across the National Hockey League. The Grizzlies NHL affiliate is in action. The Colorado Avalanche, they just got a goal from Martin Necas, 1:09 into the third period. Nashville leads Colorado 4-3 as Ryan O'Reilly has had himself quite a night. O'Reilly has scored 3 goals. Michael Bunting has also found the back of the net, and that came late in the second period. Brock Nelson has 2 goals for Colorado. Martin H. has just scored a minute 9 into the third period. Nathan McKinnon with his 46 assists of the season. Colorado's been quite the team so far this season. And if you didn't join us last week, Trent Miner, the former Grizzly goaltender, scored his first NHL victory as he picked up a 29-save shutout against Columbus. Miner is currently with the Colorado Eagles as Mackenzie Blackwood is back and healthy. And it's Blackwood in net tonight for Colorado, and he has saved 18 of 22. Other action in the NHL, one other game in progress. Quentin Byfield scored 138 in. Kings lead the Ducks 1-0 with 6 minutes left in the first period. Finals in the NHL, Red Wings defeat the Sharks 4-2. Hurricanes wallop the Panthers 9-1. That's the final score there. And the St. Louis Blues get a shootout game winner from Jordan Kyrou. Blues over the Lightning 3-2. Charles Edward Nastu, obviously the Grizzlies legend, playing for the Tampa Bay Lightning and with Tampa tonight. Nastu played 21 minutes and 11 seconds. He had 24 shifts, had 2 shots on goal, and he delivered 1 hit. So that's the NHL action. Tomorrow afternoon, the Utah Mammoth will be in action against Seattle. The Kraken are the NHL affiliate of the Kansas City Mavericks. The Mammoth don't have an ECHL affiliate, but there are 3 players on the Grizzlies club who have AHL contracts with the Tucson Roadrunners. Mammoth are 6-3-1 over the last 10 games. Kraken are 5-2-3. When we come back in 90 seconds, we will have third period action. Kansas City leads Utah 3-1. Do the Grizzlies have a comeback in them? We'll find out on the other side. You've been tuned into the Intermission Report on the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
We're 20, and yeah, we're celebrating big. Because in 20 years, we didn't just make the gear. We made hockey cooler. They said we were too loud, too flashy, too different. They told us to tone it down. The Warriors don't tone it down. We go full throttle. And this is just the start. 20 years in, and we're just getting warmed up. We're still the brand that makes the gear you can win in, chirping, and partying. And if you thought we were bold before, just wait. The next 20 years start now.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Welcome back to Maverik Center. About set for third period action. Utah will have a forward line of Sean Kennedy with Riley Connors and Maxime Barbashev, and a defensive pairing of Colby Enns and Aiden Hansen-Bukata. Connors will take the draw against Jackson Berezowski, who's out there with Casey Crew and David Cotton, and a defensive pairing of Charlie Wright and Hudson Wilson. Draw won by Kansas City. Grizzlies skate from right to left as we see it from high top section 114. Dancing around his right, he spins around Connors. He'll push it towards the Utah line for Crew, and Crew will pedal back towards the Kansas City zone over to Hudson Wilson, who outlets to center ice. Big time hit is Barbashev, and Cotton collided shoulders. Colby Enns gets hit in the back by Jackson Berezowski. Kansas City in the right point. Charlie Wright loses control of the puck as it goes back to neutral ice. Wright will loft in the air about 10 feet towards Hansen-Bukata, who outlets to Connors off his stick, off the Wilson skate. Kennedy gets the puck, skates along the left wing, and they'll spin the puck along the boards and come off after his first shift of the third period. Kansas City back up with it deep in their own zone. As the puck is outletted to Casey Crew. Crew zips it towards the left wing off of the stick of Jack Randall. Randall will race after it in the left corner as he gets hit by Barbashev. He'll make that Tyler Gratton, the Grizzlies captain. Friesen crosses center ice. He'll dump it behind Kansas City's net. Puck is poked towards the right side. Randall throws it between his legs. Taking the puck is Luke Salem, and he'll pitchfork it deep into the Kansas City zone. as Turnus collides with his stick. Turnus has been a winner for Kansas City this year. He's got a record of 5-1. Ewens over the offensive line, skates along the right wing. Lost one out in front, kicked off Wells. Rebound shot goes just wide as they missed the net far side. And that was number 11, Landon McCallum. McCallum gets hit by Grant and gets pushed into the Utah zone along the near boards. McCallum 8 goals this season. As Hanson Buchanan left wing, a fire lefty shot saved by Turnus in the butterfly position as Hanson Buchanan trying to go 5-hole. Webster gets hit by McCallum as Mikey Quella in the area. As Quella gets the puck at center ice, he scored his first pro goal 9.5 minutes into the second period. Grizzlies will switch up skaters. Utah going with 11 forwards and 6 defensemen. Out to center ice off a low height stick. Mavericks get tripped up by Mike Gillette. No call, though, as referee Harrison O'Prey, for the most part, has let them play. Quella's got good speed. Crosses center ice. Tried to bounce one towards Connors, but lifted over Connors' stick. Low height over the offense line. Left wing, dangling back, force-centering pass. Sullivan didn't get much on a one-timer as he was cutting towards the net. As ends, thrown to the boards, taking the puck and racing across center ice is Mike Gillette, the 28-year-old, making his Grizzlies debut. He's making his league debut as he gets yanked near the Kansas City bench. Low height gets taken away by Salem, who moves it ahead towards Genev, who sweeps it to the middle of the ice. Nobody home but Luke Low height. Low height plays for Kansas City, and he'll bounce one deep into the Grizzlies zone off the far wing boards. Salem over to Hanson Buchanan, who feeds to the middle of the ice for Jack Ricketts. Ricketts one hands it ahead, looking for John Gillette. Gillette trying to get back towards Ricketts in the end of a give and go. Ricketts lets it go on a delayed offside. The Gillette brothers have played a few shifts together, both John and Mike Gillette. Mike Gillette, 28 years old. His brother John is 24. Both are from Middletown, New Jersey, which, if you're wondering, is about an hour away from Trenton. Over to the right wing, shot by Luke Lemaster, hits the outside of the cage along the near wing as Robbie Stucker gets the puck. Stucker, rink-wide feed angle right, tape to Genev. Genev over towards Gratton, but the whistle blew and the Grizzlies were offside. And now Hudson Wilson's going after Jack Ricketts. The whistle was a little bit late to blow, but Wilson thinks that's no excuse as Ricketts tried to chip one towards Kansas City goaltender Logan Turnus. 16:47 is the time remaining here in the third period as Mavericks lead 3-1. Oddly enough, the puck ended up back in the Grizzlies zone, and Dylan Wells slides it all the way towards Kansas City ice. So both teams will cease and desist. Ricketts says, I didn't hear the whistle, and the whistle was late. Now Will Gavin and Ricketts have to be separated by linesman Andrew Collins. As the draw is going to be near the Kansas City bench after the Grizzlies are called for offside. Marcus Crawford having a conversation with referee Harrison O'Prey. Draw at center ice. Connors will take it against Kansas City, and the Mavericks win the draw. It's a little bit warm here in the building. At least it is in the stands. As Crew whips it around the boards. Cut out by Ewens. Is a +20 on the season off the Utah stick. Crew right side. He tried to roof it over Wells' shoulder and instead roofed it wide. As Cotton behind Utah's net. He gets dragged down by Hanson Buchanan. That's going to be a penalty on Utah. As Kansas City feeds up top, but Ewens loses his stick. Kansas City racing after it. Crawford gets the puck. As Crawford will now skate in front of his vacant net. As to the bench is Logan Turnus. Aiden Hanson Buchanan is going to get a 2-minute tripping minor. As Crawford will back it out into his own zone. A little bit dangerous, though, throwing it towards your empty net, but it was accepted by Ewens. Now the Mavericks, David Cotton skates along his blue line. Puck is touched by the combination of Gratton and Friesen. As that stops play, and Hanson Buchanan will skate towards the penalty box. He gets 2 minutes for tripping. Time of penalty, 3:58 in. So Mavericks with a 3-1 lead. They are 1 for 1 on the power play. They had 3 power play shots in the second period. That was when Crawford scored from the high slot, 3:21 in. Aiden Hanson Buchanan with penalty minutes 11 and 12 on the season. As he sits in the box, Hanson Buchanan, the RIT and Ohio State product. Hanson Buchanan was a teammate last season at Ohio State with Kansas City goaltender Logan Turnus. Turnus at Ohio State last year had a .917 save percentage. He played a total of 2 years at Ohio State. Before that, Turnus played 2 seasons at the University of Connecticut. Hanson Buchanan transferred into Ohio State before the 2024-25 season. Before that, played 4 years at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. Grizzlies get the puck and racing towards center ice. They have 4 shorthanded goals this season. They might have to be a little bit aggressive here. Reed Lepster Skates on the high slot, veers off to the left. He pivots and spins. Now he's at neutral ice. Now skate back towards the Kansas City line. Now feed it to the Grizzlies bench for Stucker. Off a Kansas City stick. Salem gets it back deep in the Grizzlies zone. Stucker slides one towards his left for Lepster. Reed Lepster bounces it off his stick, gets it back. High slot. His righty shot's blocked. Rebound shot saved by Turnus. He drops it immediately, does Turnus, to keep the play alive. The music inadvertently plays as they thought that the whistle would have blown as Turnus had gloved it, but he dropped it before the whistle blew by Harrison O'Prey. McCallum crosses center ice down the middle. Now he'll bounce one towards Cotton. Cotton gets to the right corner. Now he negotiates his way, trying to feed the puck back up top. It's picked up by Friesen. As Evan Friesen gets towards Gillette off his stick. Gillette has one of these shorthanded goals for Utah this season. As Crawford got there before John Gillette. It's a puck back towards center ice. A little bit of a modification of John Gillette's jersey as he now has Jay Gillette with his brother Mike on the team. Zach Ewan's right point. He's in the Utah zone. He'll feed it across. Crew with a hot pass towards the far goal line, tape to tape. Now back up top right side for Ewans. He'll drop it back as Janicki shot. Stick saved by Wells. Puck goes back to Crew. He'll feed it to the corner on the far side. Grizzlies skate from right to left during the period. Ewans back up top. Janicki pedals towards his left. Now drop it to the right side. One-timer. And that one's sticked away and it goes out of play. Looked like Crew fired a low liner looking for Berezowski to redirect it, and it ricocheted off of Berezowski's stick, and it flew out of play off the protective netting. 14:29 left in the third. And the Mavericks lead 3-1. Good Friday night crowd. Announced attendance at Cheers. 5,095 is the attendance. Save one for me after the game, will you? Yes. Drow's going to be over in the left circle. A couple fans had a cold one. Now looks like I've gotten a cookie. Here in section 114, we're having some fun on a Friday night. Grizzlies get the puck, and Robbie Stucker will sail it cross ice. Goes all the way towards Logan Turnus, the Connecticut and Ohio State product. We're starting to see the transfer portal quite a bit in the college level, as we're seeing more of those players advance to the pro ranks who have played for 2 or 3 different colleges. Late in the power play, Turnus slams a stick on the ice, right side. Shot hits the crossbar and it flies out of play as Luke Lohine had a pretty good look from the right side. And there's 1 second left in the power play as Lohine just tried to roof it over the left glove of Wells. Got the crossbar. 14:03 is left in the third. Hanson Bukata coming out of the box. Now, if the Grizzlies win the draw, they can loop one as Hanson Bukata can come out of the box. And if Utah wins the faceoff, maybe he can get the puck near the Kansas City blue line and maybe have a breakaway. And because of that, Drake Bergeron kind of looking over his right shoulder, making sure he's alert if the Grizzlies win the draw. That Hanson Bukata will come out of the box. Draw on the right side, won by Kansas City, so that's a moot point. Bergeron fires towards the net, and his equipment lets him down as his stick breaks. He'll get a new one from the equipment manager as Jack Ricketts out towards center ice for Genev. And Genev will bank it off the near wing boards, looking for Sean Kennedy. And a left wing feed as Kansas City towards the Grizzlies bench dump it in. As Hanson Bukata gets the puck, he's behind Wells' net. Make that Jack Ricketts number 28 as Ricketts gets pinned to the boards by Gavin. Kansas City reverses the puck to the right point. Drake Bergeron. He'll fire a righty shot. Saved by Wells in the butterfly position off his right pad as the puck flipped into the air as Friesen carries it across center ice before he loses control. As Gavin gets a good check from Boislar. Matthew Boislar came over from Adirondack, where he was claimed off waivers this past Sunday. Sporting a beard, if you remember Taylor Crunk from about 4 years ago, kind of physically and facially looks like him. Sporting that big burly beard. Right wing, Judding spins along the boards as Jack Randall trying to break free of Robbie Stucker. Puck goes back towards Hanson Bukata, who dangles. He fires it off the glass. It goes past Kansas City and all the way down for Utah icing with 12:52 left in the third. So neither team scored so far in the third frame, and Kansas City wouldn't have it any other way. Mike Gillette on the ice, one of 11 forwards for the Grizzlies tonight. Mike Gillette talking things over with Aiden Hanson Bukata. Had a pretty good run in the SPHL with the Peoria Rivermen. Mike Gillette played in 88 games with Peoria. He was part of their 2024 SPHL Championship Club. Down to the right side, right with a shot kick saved by Wells off his right pad. As action still in the Grizzlies zone. Randall gets the puck around Utah's net, skates towards the near side as Judding gets hit by Connors. Hanson Bukata gets the puck. He'll race towards the far goal line around Utah's net and get it ahead. as Barba make that Gillette, gets bounced to the boards. Gillette's a pretty big guy, 6'2", 209 pounds, looks every bit of it. He is bigger than his younger brother, John. As Utah gets it across towards Michael Coella. He scored Utah's lone goal. That was 9:28 into the second period. It turned out to be his first as a pro. Berezowski will backhand it ahead towards the Utah line. Running it down is Coella, who's got pretty good speed. Coella saucers one towards Maxim Barbashev, who race around Jackson Berezowski, cross center ice, and bounce it in. As Crawford, he gets lit up by Berezowski, by Barbashev. As Casey Crew right side, they'll feed it towards the left corner. As Kansas City gets off the boards, they try to negotiate their way around Wells. Puck off a stick of Gratton, who loses control of it. Barbashev ahead to center ice. Grayson jumps it back, looking for Barbashev. It was picked up by Cotton. Sullivan. Barbashev tried to light him up, and Sullivan sidestepped him. Carew swings and misses from the high slot, as he'll drop it back off. Fan serenade Carew, as Ewens feeds to the right side off the Janicki stick. Grizzlies come back the other way. Racing across center ice is Salem, but he's at the end of his shift, so he dumps it in and comes off. As Salem and Enns are replaced by Boyzar and Stucker. Kansas City has numbers that they want it. They cross center ice. Turned out to be a 3-on-3 at the end of a shift. Mavericks drive it into the Grizzlies' backboard. Big time hit the right side is Boyzar. He collides with Lohite. Now Boyzar, he collides with Lohite. Boyzar looks like he's going to have physical presence for the Grizzlies. As Geneva gets cut off at neutral ice, Grizzlies try to cross center ice. Lepster gets yanked down, no call. As Boyzar, he collides with Jimmy Glenn. Glenn wearing a college-style mask. Lohite comes off the ice at the end of a shift. As Ricketts gets it ahead towards Lepster, and Lepster will loop it ahead towards the left wing off the boards. Geneva gets it. Danny Geneva, he gets pushed towards the boards, but feeds it out in front. And Luke Lemaster with a good defensive play, cutting off Jack Ricketts. Now Ricketts gets the puck left wing, enters the offensive zone. He'll tap it off a Bergeron stick. Grizzlies center it from the left wing. It's taken away. Mavericks come back the other way. 4-on-3. Can't see over to center ice off a Lemaster stick. Hanson Buchanan reverse it. 3-on-2 for Utah. AHB down the middle of the ice gets to Kennedy. Kennedy with a lefty shot. Kick save off the right pad of Turnus. As Kennedy collides at the boards with Lemaster. As Kennedy centers, that's picked off by Kansas City. And they will rainbow it to center ice. Gloved and dropped by Gillette. Gillette towards center ice. And tried to tap it in, but instead it goes into the Kansas City bench. Timeouts on the ice. 9:52 left in the third period. And the Grizzlies trail 3-1. This is the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe that you should get more from less. Like exclusive tires we design ourselves means more tires made for the roads that you drive, less compromise. And we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. It's more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. And our 60-day satisfaction guarantee means you'll be way more satisfied and way less stressed. For all this and more, you get more from less.
Now we're halfway through the third period. Kansas City leads Utah 3-1. Nobody has scored here so far in the third period. Draws at center ice. Riley Connors will take it against Jackson Judding. No points tonight for Judding, as both Judding and Danny Geneva are tied for the league lead for points among rookies. Both have 28. Judding 14 goals, 14 assists. Geneva 12 goals and 16 assists. Barbashev with a big-time hit on Landon McCallum. McCallum got back to his feet. Kansas City skates over the offense line. Left wing. Judding with a lefty shot, and he didn't get much on it as he missed the net stick side on Wells. As the Mavericks will bounce one like a basketball deep in the Grizzly zone as Salem, he gets hit by McCallum as play starting to get a little bit more physical here in the third period. Kansas City over the left wing. Lefty shot's a change up, and it's gloved by Wells as Randall didn't get all of a one-time attempt from the left circle. After the whistle, Landon McCallum stares down a Grizzly as both guys will cease and desist. 9:19 left in the third. Shot counts in favor of Kansas City, 29-21. We had mentioned that Kansas City on average out shooting opponents by about 8 per game. They show the replay of Barbashev, and he's delivered some big-time hits, and that was one of them near the Grizzlies bench as Landon McCallum was trying to get a cross-ice pass. So draws over in the left circle. Evan Friesen will take it for Utah. Friesen a point in 8 of his last 12 games. Off the draw, puck will slide towards Wells, who covers up. And David Cotton getting after it with a Grizzly. Now a little bit of a hullabaloo in front of Utah's net. It's Hanson Bukata and Cotton. Cotton staring down Hanson Bukata. David Cotton goes 6'3", 195 pounds. Hanson Bukata 6'1", 195. Kansas City 3, Utah 1. As Cotton having some words for Hanson Bukata, and also has a parting word for Harrison O'Prey. And Dylan Wells looked like I've been knocked down a little bit as he regathers his thoughts. Looked like Wells kind of incidentally took a shot. That might have been what it was. Cotton might have ran into Wells, and then Hanson Bukata just holding his ground. Draw one by Kansas City. The Mavericks have been an elite team since they've been affiliate with the Seattle Kraken. Crawford moves to the middle of the ice, picked off by Utah. Puck off a couple sticks towards the Kansas City bench. As Ewens cuts off Gratton, and Ewens will ice the puck. As Dylan Wells kind of told Hanson Bukata, hey, come here, puck's over here. Ice and called on Kansas City. Mavericks really been a dominant team since they've been affiliated with the Seattle Kraken. The Grizzlies are in their 8th season as an affiliate of the Colorado Avalanche. Good crowd tonight. 5,095 is the paid attendance. 5,095. Same teams tomorrow night. 6:50 pregame show. 7:10 face-off. It's going to be youth sports night. Discounted tickets for all the youth. And make sure to come on down to Maverik Center, enjoy some hockey, and maybe turn it into a pro hockey doubleheader. As Mammoth hosts the Seattle Kraken at 3 o'clock. Off the draw, Hanson Bukata. Helicopters one. A little bit wide towards the near side as he was in the high slot. As Kansas City will wing it out towards the middle of the ice. Goes past Carew all the way towards Wells, who covers up. 8:47 left in the third. It's quite a few action, quite a few whistles, and the game's kind of slowed down a little bit. Grizzlies just trying to find something to generate here in the third period, some sort of spark to get back into the game. Could it be with a big hit? Barbashev with a big hit about a minute ago. Face off over in the left circle. Evan Friesen will take the draw. Don't forget to join us on Sunday at 3 p.m. for the series finale. The game on Sunday will be the last regular season meeting ever between the Grizzlies and Mavericks. Off the draw, McLaughlin fires one-timer wide from the left point. Actually, probably was more high than wide as it went over the crossbar. As 2-on-2 scrum, as Enns holds his ground, so does Hanson Bukata. Sullivan trying to spin free of Friesen. Now the puck hits the outside of the cage. Wells will bounce it off of Friesen. Now the Grizzlies, Reed Lepster gets it. 2-on-3. Lepster will chip it ahead towards Gratton. Bouncing puck at center ice, and Gratton throws down Berge, but Kansas City comes out with the puck. Jake McLaughlin, he'll wing it out towards Judding about shoulder high. Judding couldn't glove it. Judding and Enns collide at center ice as Enns throws it in. Enns will come off, and he's replaced by Robbie Stucker. Stucker and Enns are pretty similar players, both similar-sized right-shot defensemen. As McLaughlin crosses center ice, he'll push it in, but it goes towards Stucker. The Grizzlies left winging out to Coella. He'll drop it for Kennedy. Kennedy, left circle, fire lefty shot that goes wide. Getting it off the boards, but getting spun around as a Grizzly. As Mike Gillette trying to hold his ground as Turnus looks over his left shoulder. Kansas City off the wall as the puck goes towards number 24. Actually, 24 is a scratch tonight, Thomas Farrell. As Friesen over towards Coella. He'll drop it for Mike Gillette. Gillette and Coella played one game together with Peoria. As Coella played one game with Peoria on October 18th and hasn't played since until tonight. As Gavin jumps at center ice around John Gillette, and he'll fire it in. As Wells will chip it off the near boards. Wells goes down. He might have collided, and he collided with Will Gavin. And Boislar's attacking Gavin at center ice. Oh, you bet Boislar is going to town on Will Gavin. Gavin ran into Dylan Wells, and Boislar, he went after Will Gavin. He had seen that Wells went down, and Mathieu Boilar Boy, he got after it with Will Gavin. Boislar now yelling with Hudson Wilson. That's at least the second or third time that Hudson Wilson's yelled at a Grizzly. As Boislar and Wilson continue to have words, with linesman Tyler Keston stepped between him. And now the referee, Harrison O'Prey, doesn't point to the penalty box. He points to the locker room for Boislar. Remember, these teams will meet tomorrow. I imagine Wilson and Boislar might tie it up at some point tomorrow. As Boislar's gloves are laying at neutral ice, and Boislar will go to the locker room. 7:11 left in the third. As behind the net, boy, Gavin must have gotten a piece of Wells. It looked like Wells went down. Gavin was nearby. Gavin might have tripped him up. And with that, Boislar saw it, and Boislar went after Gavin. So it looks like a 10-minute misconduct for Boislar. As the fans show the replay, and they see Boislar going to town on Gavin. And that's about the loudest ovation that we've had here at Maverik Center tonight. Mathieu Boislar making his Grizzlies debut. Boyslard is his last name. David Cotton talking things over with the referee along with Tyler Gratton, two team leaders. As there's another replay. It was one of those Gavin wasn't really looking at Wells and just kind of it tripped him up. And Gavin Gavin wasn't really looking towards Wells. It must have just something that both guys were behind the net and they just got their feet tangled up a little bit. As Gavin was just kind of looking up. He wasn't even looking at Wells when he tripped him up. As Wells is on two knees in front of the crease. So it's going to be a 2-minute roughing minor for Boislar. So Kansas City is going to get a power play. And Mike Gillette's going to represent Boislar in the penalty box. As Boislar is in the tunnel, as he's standing with assistant equipment manager Miles Stewart. As Boislar has gotten a 10-minute misconduct. Now Dylan Wells is talking with Harrison O'Prey, the referee. As Wells has kind of gotten hit around a couple times here in the third period. And the Grizzlies trying to do what they can to protect their goaltender. So it's 2-minute power play for Kansas City. It's a 3-1 game with 7:11 left in the third. So draws give me in the left wing. The Grizzlies get aggressive here, shorthanded. McCallum with the puck right side. He fires the righty shot, saved by Wells. Rebound out in front. No shooting angle for Judding as the puck bounces along the far wing boards. Maxime Barbashev accelerates towards the right side. Steps over the offense line. Barbashev trying to center it to Ricketts. And it's picked off by Kansas City as the Mavericks were stride for stride with the speedy Barbashev. Judding crosses center ice down the middle. Gets the right side. He'll chip it off the boards. Judding tried to get his own pass and does so successfully as he moved it towards McCallum. Judding will bounce to the right circle. Now the puck hipping out towards Bukata, who feeds it to the middle of the ice for Barbashev. He helicopters it down back towards Kansas City ice. Grizzlies will switch it up and get 4 fresh tires on their penalty kill. Less than 6.5 minutes left in the third period. As Crawford, who's already got a power play goal tonight, drops for McCallum across the center ice. As Gratton delivered a big-time hit on McCallum. Kansas City walks in, left wing, didn't have a shooting angle. They skate around Wells. Now McCallum gets towards the high slot. Now back to McCallum in the right point. He fakes a shot, and he'll move it towards the right corner. Now back up top to Crawford. Crawford fires towards the net, and it glanced off a Judding skate. As Utah looked like the net might have gotten dislodged. I'm not sure. The net's back in place. Judding over to the right side, gets to McCallum. 45 seconds left in Kansas City's power play. Now less than 6 minutes left in regulation. Mavericks lead the Grizzlies 3-1. McCallum over to Crawford. Will feed it towards his left. Now to the middle. Judding lefty one-timer goes wide. Might have gotten a little bit of the near post. As Gratton out towards center ice, collides with McCallum again. As the Mavericks will tap it off the stick of Lebster. Dancing around and spinning is David Cotton. He tries to break free of Salem. Salem holds up with Cotton 2-on-2 scrum along the far wing boards. Now Kansas City comes out with a puck. Mavericks left wing shot. And it bounced off of Wells' left glove. And the Grizzlies clear it back to center ice. Cotton made a good move of not playing the puck as he was coming off the ice. Would have been too many minutes on the ice penalty. As Hanson Bukata spins around Judding. As Grizzlies are back at full strength, Mike Gillette will join the play. Now I'll skate to the bench. As Friesen tried to get around to Maverick. Puck slides towards Turnus, and he covers up in the crease with 5:03 left in the third. Time out on the ice. It's Kansas City 3, Utah 1. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 38th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to thank everyone in attendance for your support of ECHL hockey. The ECHL would also like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, exclusive signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2026 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Dash, official mobile auction platform; The Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Flow Sports, exclusive streaming provider; Hotel Planner, official hotel reservations partner; Howie's Hockey Tape, exclusive hockey tape and lace provider; In Glasgow, exclusive puck provider; Prolific One, exclusive secondary ticketing partner; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider and title sponsor of the 2026 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
Got a good crowd here on a Friday night. Kansas City leads Utah 3-1. All of the goals have been scored in the second period. Off the draw, Stucker down the middle. His shot's blocked. Well, still in net. He might come off for an extra attacker here in a couple minutes. It's Mikey Quello, who has Utah's lone goal. He scored his first pro goal, 9:28 in. He's making his Grizzlies debut. That was 9:28 into the second period. Mavericks got second period goals from Sullivan, Crawford, and Wright. As Kansas City, they've outshot Utah 31-21. Battle along the far corner of the Kansas City zone. Mavericks will wobble it out towards center ice as Koala climbs with the Maverick, as kicking it ahead was number 28, Justin Janicki. Now the Grizzlies have it in their own zone as Utah will switch up forwards. As Stucker, Grizzlies are rolling with five defensemen. As in his Grizzlies debut, Mathieu Boyar, he picked up a 10-minute misconduct to go along with a 2-minute penalty for roughing. As Utah towards the far corner, lose control of the puck. Jake McLaughlin gets it, and he'll slide it across. It was overled for number 9, Jackson Judding. There's a +5 this season. Grizzlies back. Tansi Mukata. Cross-ice pass off of Frieson's stick deep into the Kansas City zone. Mavericks roll along the boards. Kansas City's won 9 in a row. During that stretch, they've outscored opponents 31-13. So now it's 34-14 in the last close to 10 games. Salem, he fires towards the net. Drake Bergeron blocks it with his stick. In fact, the last time that Kansas City lost a game was against the Grizzlies over at Cable Dama Arena on April 19th. Down the middle of the ice, Bergeron, high slot, righty shot blocker saved by Wells. Utah won that game 7-4 as Reed Lepster had 2 goals and 1 assist. Back behind Utah's net. Now Kansas City gets back left wing as Crew fires a righty shot, and that's blocked about 5 feet in front of Wells. As Randall back behind behind Utah's net. Randall gets the puck. He'll direct it up top. Taking the puck. Right high slot. Lefty shot, and that's blocked. That was taken by Hudson Wilson. Grizzlies helicopter it ahead. It goes towards Ricketts in the left corner. Ricketts collides with Hudson Wilson. Wilson's in his 100th pro game. Puck wheels along the boards towards the far side off of Grizzly. As Lepster in the area battling with Kansas City. Now it goes towards the Mavericks. Wells came off the ice and firing towards the empty net and scoring is Jack Randall, and this baby's in the refrigerator. Randall gets his 12th of the year, and it's now a 4-1 Kansas City lead. Boy, Wells had come off the ice for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then Randall had the puck in the left wing, skated over the offensive zone. He got a Grizzly in front of him, and Randall just helicoptered it over the goal line. So barring a miracle like we saw a couple years ago on Military Night, March of 2024, looks like the Mavericks are going to get their 10th straight victory. So empty net goal for Jack Randall, assisted by Landon McCallum. McCallum gets his 15th assist of the year. Actually, it's his 2nd assist of the night. So McCallum with a multiple-point game. Been a very balanced attack for Kansas City this evening. 3 goals in the second and now 1 in the third. There's 2.5 minutes left in regulation. The Mavericks will sky it out to center ice. Puck heading up towards the Utah line. Wells is in net as Stucker collides with low height. Kansas City walks in down the middle of the ice. Now veering off to the right. But Jimmy Glenn couldn't get a shot off as he just keeps the puck and he'll feed it towards his left. Mavericks look to center it. And puck is off a stick before it got towards Justin Janicki. Now Glenn, right side. His shot's blocked by Connors. He'll move it ahead. Kansas City gets it towards Glenn. 2 minutes left. Glenn tried to lift the puck and got too much air under it. Might have glanced off of Stucker's stick as it flies out of play. A minute 57's left in the third period. Some of the fans are heading for the exits. Bit of a warm night here at Maverik Center. Got to be a little bit colder on the ice, but here, high atop section 114, it's a little bit warm. Kind of a tough battle as to who the three stars of the game are, as it has been a balanced attack for Kansas City. Multiple point game for Landon McCallum with 2 assists, but goals from 4 different Mavericks. Sullivan, Crawford, and Wright scored in the second period, and an empty netter by Jack Randall. That's really been the key to Kansas City's success, is they've had a balanced attack. They're getting contributions every night from just about everybody. Mike Gillette in his Grizzlies and league debut, he played in 88 SBHL games with Peoria over a 3, maybe 4-year stretch. Now Luke Salem, he'll fire it in. As off the boards, Mikey Coella chasing after it. Hockey DB calls him Michael, but a couple of the other teams, including one of the colleges, referred to him as Mikey Coella. Salem off the boards. Mikey Coella, I believe, was in training camp with Kalamazoo before this regular season. As Mavericks in the own corner, as some of the fans are starting to head for the exits, try to beat traffic. As it's iced by Kansas City as they try to get towards center ice for Jimmy Glenn. And so it's going to be an offensive zone draw for Utah with a minute 14 left in regulation. Don't forget, these teams will meet tomorrow night. 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. Grizzlies have won the shot battle quite a bit as of late, but it's Kansas City that leads the shot count 33-21. Grizzlies had been a high shot volume team, but Kansas City did a good job tonight in controlling the tempo of this game. Grizzlies are without quite a few key players. Luke Manning's been out the last handful of games. Neil Shea's missing his second straight game with a lower body injury. Timo Fayev's out for the third straight game. Grizzlies also without Christoph Filion and Christian Felton for the fourth straight game. As puck ends up between the Grizzly defensemen and Kansas City ices the puck, the whistle blows with a minute 5 left in regulation. Grizzlies have been without Avery Winslow since early December and Riley Kovacevic since mid-November. But obviously Grizzlies, despite being shorthanded, they've got 17 healthy skaters for tonight. Utah is just trying to find a way to generate what they can. So Utah has had to jump in. They signed 3 players earlier this week. Mathieu Boilar came over from waivers as he was claimed by the Grizzlies from Adirondack. And then obviously the signings of Mike Gillette and Mikey Coella. Coella was one of Utah's best forwards tonight. And Mike Gillette is a +1 and has 2 shots. So the new Grizzlies and Boilar obviously got into it physically with the 10-minute misconduct, getting after it with Will Gavin. Kansas City, 40 seconds left. Left wing, lefty shot goes wide. As Charlie Wright backhands it ahead. As we mentioned with Kansas City, a very structured team and a team that has had a lot of guys come back from year to year, and especially on the defensive line. As left point, Hudson Wilson helicopters a lefty shot, saved by Wells. He just snatched it around the Utah, which is from left to right, kind of in a similar fashion as how the Utah Mammoths home jerseys were last year. Wells holds on. Grizzlies in their professional green jerseys tonight. 24.7 seconds left in the third period. Grizzlies had kind of a lighter shade of green that they wore as an alternate jersey during the division championship year back in the 2021-22 campaign. Grizzlies win the draw. Salem gets it towards Tyler Gratton. Gratton, the second-year pro, had 20 goals for Reading last year. Right wing feed to Hanson Buchanan to Friesen down the middle. Friesen skates in, backhand shot, saved by Turnus. And he holds on as Logan Turnus, he might be the number 1 star tonight. He has seen 22 shots and he has saved 21 of them. Hasn't had to make a ton of saves, but the ones he had to have made, Turnus has done a good job for Kansas City. Only player with a multiple-point game for the Mavericks is Landon McCallum, who has 2 assists. 12 seconds left in the third period. Nobody scored in the first period. Nolan Sullivan got Kansas City on the board 47 seconds into the second. Marcus Crawford had a power play goal, 3:21 in. Mikey Coella redirected a Luke Salem shot to get Utah on the board, 9:28 in. Jack Ricketts also with an assist. Charlie Wright scored 11:18 into the second, and Jack Randall scored on an empty net with 30 seconds left in a minute 30 left in regulation. As time runs out, the horn sounds. And the Kansas City Mavericks have now won 10 in a row. They defeat Utah 4-1. Bright spot for the Grizzlies, obviously, was Mikey Quella's first pro goal. So the fans have headed for the exits, one of the biggest crowds so far in the regular season here at Maverik Center of 5,095. Kansas City gets the 2 standings points. They outshot Utah 34-22. We'll come back and have the post-game report as Kansas City is a 4-1 winner. We're back in 1 minute. It's the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network.
Every new day is a chance to be kinder to your body and your mind. U of U Health is here to help you build strength and confidence every day. Let us help you be a better you. U of U Health, official health partner for the Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utes Athletics, and the Utah Grizzlies. Take the first step today at uofuhealth.org.
Kansas City is a 4-1 winner over the Grizzlies as just Kansas City's night. Mavericks are a good team. They're in first place in the Mountain Division. They've got a record of 25-7-1-1. And with the victory, they are now back to a 3 standing point lead over Idaho. Former Grizzly Jake Barczewski had a 31-save shutout for Idaho against Orlando earlier today. In the transaction report earlier today, Christian Felton was loaned to the Abbotsford Canucks. Felton has now missed 4 straight games with Utah. And he played in 13 games with Abbotsford in the AHL last season. And so, according to the transaction list, Christian Felton is signed a PTO with the Abbotsford Canucks. Grizzlies, injuries really piled up if you talk about the transaction list today, as Christoph Filion and Luke Manning reach, as well as Nil Shea, each placed on the 14-day IL, and Stepan Timofeyev's on the 3-day IL. Or injured, it's just one of those. The Grizzlies are shorthanded, and they're just trying to battle the best they could. And all right, Kansas City just put together a pretty good fight tonight, and they've now won 10 in a row. The Grizzlies did play well in Kansas City in the 2-game set in late December. They went over the scoring right there at the end of regulation. Kansas City got second period goals from Sullivan, Crawford, and Wright. In between Kansas City's second and third goal, Mikey Quella. With the play of the night, he redirected the Luke Salem shot. Salem fired away from the left point, 9:28 in. Jack Ricketts also picked up an assist. And that was the only goal for the Grizzlies tonight. Jack Randall scored on an empty net with 1.5 minutes left in regulation, assisted by Landon McCallum. It's kind of interesting to think about the shot count, and you also think about the scoring chances. Kansas City tonight had 17 scoring chances. The Grizzlies had 11. That's one of the things Kansas City does, and that's why we keep mentioning how they've had a ton of defensemen who have been with the Mavericks organization for multiple years. They've got that great structure, and they seem to do a good job night in and night out controlling the pace of the game, and they seem to control the pace here this evening. So really, if you're looking at an adjustment for tomorrow night in the middle of this 3-game series, it's going to be obviously Saturday night at 7 o'clock, Youth Sports Night. Make sure to get your tickets at UtahGrizzlies.com. The Grizzlies will be looking to get that pace. If you're watching on Flow Sports early in the second period, that was kind of an awkward-looking play. It looked like the backhand shot by Sullivan bounced off of Wells, and that might have kicked off of Salem and into the back of the net. Marcus Crawford with the power play goal just kind of rose a little bit. It looked like one of those rising wristers from the high slot. That made it a 2-0 game. As Danny Geneva got hit in the back at times, play got pretty physical, and I kind of wonder, obviously, with 2 more games this weekend, how physical things are going to get for the battle tomorrow evening. As Geneva, team, he's a tough guy. Danny Geneva, about 5'6", will represent the Grizzlies in the All-Star Classic on Monday. As for watching on Flow Sports, there's the goal as Ricketts dropped it for Salem, and Mikey Coella was about 20 feet in front of the crease, redirected the Luke Salem shot. One of the themes tonight, it's obviously the 3 new players for the Grizzlies, as Mathieu Boilar out there with Mike Gillette and Mikey Coella. And Coella picked up Utah's lone goal as he redirected the Luke Salem shot. Salem now has a point in 3 of his last 4 games as he's played some good hockey for the Grizzlies as of late. And Jack Ricketts now has a point in 16 different games this season. There's the Eccles family here in attendance, and good to see them. It's Kansas City's Charlie Wright with a one-timer from the right side. He fired it past Wells. That was a blast from Charlie Wright. That's his 5th pro goal. He had 4 goals for Kansas City last season, his first goal this year. And late in the second period, Robbie Stucker cross-checked a Kansas City player in the back, and then Hudson Wilson tried to return the favor. Kansas City could have had a power play, but Wilson decided he was going to cross-check Stucker to even things up, and so they were skating 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. As Maxime Barbashev, he got physical with a couple big hits. There was one on Landon McCallum, and that was at Neutrice on a cross-ice pass, as looked like Charlie Wright was trying to get it towards McCallum. That was probably the hit of the night. The hit delivered on Barbashev, and then Wells got tripped up by Gavin. Gavin wasn't really looking at Wells, but then Mathieu Boilard, his Grizzlies debut, got after it with Will Gavin out at center ice. As the linesman had to separate, Boislar got a 10-minute misconduct. So that was the last we saw of him tonight. Boislar wearing number 27. There's been quite a few Grizzlies players that have worn number 27. And the empty netter scored by Jack Randall. Interestingly enough, Dylan Wells, well, he probably came off the ice for about 2 or 3 seconds before Randall came in with the puck. And that was all she wrote. 4-1 Kansas City with the victory. As Mavericks have played the majority of their games at home this season, but on the road, they're 11-1-1-1, a basic win-loss record of 11-3. As overall this season, the Mavericks are now 25-7-1-1. For the Grizzlies, it's game 34 of the regular season. The majority of their games have been on the road. It's just the 12th home game. Utah has played the fewest amount of home games of any team in the league. And it's been a struggle here at Maverik Center. Utah is now 3-8-1 at home. They haven't had many practices, interestingly enough, here at Maverik Center. So it almost kind of, even though it is home to the Grizzlies, kind of doesn't necessarily feel like home, as most of the time the Grizzlies have had to practice off-site at a different place. So they just haven't been able to get things rolling here at home this season. Utah is 3-8-1 at Maverik Center, but Utah will be obviously home for most of the games here throughout the rest of the regular season. So if we're talking about adjustments for tomorrow, obviously things got physical at times in the last half of tonight's game. I imagine that's going to pick up a little bit more. Really, you're just talking about trying to control the pace of the game. You know, is it going to be more of a Grizzly style of play, or is it going to be more to the tune of what Kansas City likes to play? That might end up dictating what happens. And really with the Grizzlies, and part of the reason why they had success in December in Kansas City is the Grizzlies were able to play their style and put Kansas City and have Kansas City playing on their heels a little bit. So we'll see if the Grizzlies can get out to a lead. That's been one of the tough things. Utah has now lost 6 in a row. Is over this losing streak, Grizzlies have fallen behind and have had to play catch-up in games. So I imagine tomorrow a big key is to get that first goal and play with the lead, as opposed to what we've seen as of late, where the Grizzlies fall behind in games and then have to play catch-up, which is certainly a tough formula, especially in this league when teams that score first end up winning about 75% of the time. So it just is what it is. Let's go over the 3 stars of the game. Third star goes to Mikey Quella of the Grizzlies, who scored his first pro goal. Congratulations to Mikey, the Canisius and Northern Michigan product. He scored 9:28 into the second period, and he's the third star. Second star goes to Marcus Crawford, who scored what turned out to be the game winner, 3:21 into the second period. And the number 1 star is goaltender Logan Turnus, who saved 21 of 22. The only player with a multiple-point game on either side is Landon McCallum, who had 2 assists for the Mavericks. Crowds filing out of Maverik Center, and it was a pretty good crowd of 5,095. Time of game was 2 hours and 32 minutes. That'll just about wrap things up. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast, not necessarily the final outcome. The highlight for the Grizzlies, obviously Mikey Quella's first pro goal, as he scored 9:28 into the second period. In terms of the shot count, Grizzlies had 22 tonight, and they were led by Reed Lebster, who had 4 shots. Tyler Granton had 3 shots, and a bunch of Grizzlies with 2 shots, including Mike Gillette in his Grizzlies debut. Interestingly enough, the Gillette brothers, Mike and John, are just the second pair of brothers. They were teammates on the Grizzlies all time. In the 31-year history of the Utah Grizzlies, Paul and Tim Crowder were each on the Grizzlies during the 2010-2011 season. We'll talk about the Crowders a little bit more later on this week, and I know that a bunch of the Gillette family, or natives of Middletown, New Jersey, are making the trip out towards the Salt Lake Valley to see their family, as John and Mike Gillette are currently on the Grizzlies, and certainly a special weekend for them upcoming. And really for the Grizzlies, it's just going to be trying to get back on the winning note, as they have now lost 6 in a row. Kansas City, on the other hand, has a current 10-game winning streak. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Next broadcast will be at 6:50 in the Mountain Time Zone, face off at 7:10. It'll be the second of a 3-game series tomorrow night. It's going to be U Sports Night. Make sure to get your tickets at UtahGrizzlies.com. I'm Tyson Whiting, and I'm just pursuing my dream, and that's to someday get to the National Hockey League. You've been listening to the Utah Grizzlies Hockey Network. Good night, everybody.